The following NCAA football game is a presentation of HDNet Sports.
It rings of a proud yesteryear, of a once viable railroad that ran through the veins of the Midwest and the hearts of two college towns in west central Indiana. Today, it rings of the trophy that goes to the winner of the 110th Classic between DePauw and Wabash in the Monon Bell game. And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Blackstock Stadium here in Greencastle, Indiana, where we're expecting a capacity crowd of 8,000 to watch the oldest small college rivalry west of the Alleghenies, the DePauw Tigers hosting the Little Giants of Wabash in Division III football action. I'm Kenny Rice, glad that you could be with us. Looking back at the storied history, two gentlemen who know it well. Joe Emmick has covered this game as a broadcaster for 16 years. Rob Doyle played in this game for DePauw several seasons ago and still holds most of the records. Joe, what is the big deal about a Division III football game on a Saturday afternoon in November?
Kenny, 110 years of history in which this series is tied. Two very good academic schools whose student athletes are students first and then athletes, and a whole bunch of pride for seniors who want to go out as winners.
And Rob, you have played in this game. You've been right out there amongst them. What's this action like in this game compared to other games you played in?
Well, this is the funnest game of the year for both teams. The intensity will be very high, particularly today because this is Coach Nick Morozis' last game. And he's had a great career here at DePauw, so everybody's rooting for him.
He is a legend, 23 years that he has been coach here. It's interesting that this series, and probably appropriate so, is dead even after 109 games. They've won 50 apiece with 9 ties. And now to talk more about the emotions in this game, here's Kandace Krueger. Hi, Kandace.
Hi, Kenny. You're absolutely right. Today we're going to see plenty of emotion. Both teams come in and they haven't had stellar seasons. Wabash is 6-3. DePauw is at 5-4. I spoke with both players and coaches from both programs earlier this week, and they talked about how today's game is a season in and of itself. They talked about, of course, the intense rivalry and the burning desire to capture the bell, but they also talked about redemption. Both programs believe that today's matchup is an opportunity to redeem themselves and their programs and go out on top with a win. Kenny?
Thanks, Kandace. We have two outstanding players here that we're going to look at right now, both with All-American credentials, and both can beat you with their feet or catching the ball. Joe?
Josh Brunaw, senior wide receiver for the Little Giants, leads the team with 42 catches and 5 touchdowns, 10 grabs today. He moves into the top 10 all-time for the Little Giants. He can also do it on kick and punt returns. A dangerous man for the Little Giants.
Rob?
Well, Joe, speaking of kick returns, Jamarcus Shepard is leading the country at 30 yards per kickoff return. He's also DePauw's leading receiver. He's one of the most electrifying players in small college football.
The 110th meeting between Wabash and DePauw. It is a cold, damp afternoon here in north central Indiana. 35 degrees or so, a little wind, had some rain this morning. It's stopped, but you can still see on the sidelines especially a little bit of dampness, but the field should be in great shape as we have the coin toss at midfield. The home team DePauw dressed in the black with the gold and in the white with the red, the visitors Wabash. Wabash will be receiving as DePauw winning and electing to put the Little Giants on the attack for the first time. The Tailgaters, among the last to arrive, staying in the warmth of some Winnebagos and under some tents before they would come out, but nothing could deter these guys from getting a front row seat and getting on TV when you dress like that.
That's the thing about Wabash. They're very spirited. Their crowd is great. That's what makes it so fun to play these guys every year. They bring out everybody, and these kids are going to have a lot of fun today.
Kicking it off for DePauw, number 97 there is John Wallace, a 6'2", 180-pound senior out of Fort Wayne, so he knows all about the Monon Bell game. And standing back is Josh Brunaw. Brunaw is an All-American punt returner and is averaging right around 23 yards per kickoff return. He's had a long this year of 42. He is the deep man and the man that Wabash hopes will get the ball. The 110th meeting between DePauw and Wabash is underway. Rana at the 15 to the 20. Some room to the 25, up to the 30, spins off and gets it out to around the 34-yard line. Nice return for the senior just up the road in New Ross, Indiana, to give good field position for the Little Giants as they come on the attack first.
A line drive kick, very returnable for Brenau. Even though he's a senior, he can make things very interesting with some of the decisions he makes on kick returns. That time he played like a senior and gives the Little Giants good field position.
Brenau is one of the men to watch for, of course. Russ Harbaugh, 6'1" sophomore from Evansville, brings him to the line. Two receivers out to the right side. The lone setback is Chris Morris, who could become the all-time leading rusher today, and he gets the ball and fights hard to get about a yard up to the 35-yard line. Morris needing 88 yards in this game to become the all-time leading rusher in Wabash history. As we take a look at the backfield for the Wabash Little Giants, you will see and hear from Lafitte today as well. He is a freshman who has been playing great for them. And then you take a look at the starting offensive line, including a man up there in the front line for Wabash that has three sophomores and a solid tight end in Dawson. And it's now 2nd and 9 after the 1-yard gain by Chris Morris, who gets it again and goes up the middle. Out across the 35 to around the 37.
Joe, they've started off very conservatively today. Do you think that's because they have a young quarterback?
I think it is. Russ Harbaugh has had a very interesting season. He was brilliant in a win over Wittenberg, but has struggled at other times. And I think the Little Giants want to establish the run to settle down Harbaugh, and the rushing attack will be interesting. The Little Giants have only had 2 100-yard rushers in the last 9 years in this game, and Chris Morris, who's poised to be the career leader at the end of the day, averaging just 43 yards a game in Monon Bell contests.
And for DePauw, keeping on that defensive end, number 47, Joshua Swift, 4.5 sacks on the season. On 3rd down, Harbaugh looking to throw. Now he's going to be forced to run, and he's brought down from behind by Swift. It will be close to the 1st down. He needed to get it out to around the 44-yard line. We'll see where they mark it. It's going to come up a yard short. Nice pressure by the DePauw front line. Harbaugh could not get the pass off, forced to run, and Joshua Swift, 6'3", 220-pound senior from Forsyth, Illinois, is there to run him down.
That's a big stop for DePauw. Last year, Wabash had probably one of their best teams ever, and DePauw they struggled in that game, and so they need to get off to a good start today. It's a big confidence thing for them to get this thing rolling early.
Kicking it away will be Garth Cheek, averaging around 34 yards a punt, and he hits this off the side of his foot. There will be no return. It takes a bounce and goes down around the 46-yard line. So not the way that Wabash was hoping things would work out on that punt, as it goes off the side of the foot of the kicker, Garth Cheek, and gives great field position for DePauw coming on the attack for the first time. They will have it at their own 46-yard line. A punt that was covering, what, about a dozen yards on that.
Looked like a bad snap, and it looks like he had to struggle to get that one off.
Andy Yoder, a 6'2", 225-pound senior from Goshen, Indiana, leads his team onto the field. This year he has thrown for over 1,400 yards, 10 touchdown passes, has a lone setback behind him in Russ, and sends receivers out to both sides. And there's a little screen on the first play. And coming up with it, and something that we'll see quite a bit of today, and that man, Jamarcus Shepard, hauling in the first pass and picking up a couple of yards on it as he tried for the quick hitter to him, and he has the speed to get things done.
Well, that was an interesting play. I think his knee was actually down.
Now we have 2 quarterbacks in the lineup for DePauw. Andy Yoder is number 15, and Ross Weedhoff is number 12. The first time that Coach Nick Morosas has used the 2 quarterbacks in here this season. They're both in there. What's going to give here as we bring it to 2nd and 5, and flags are thrown. And apparently Wabash also trying to figure out what was going on, or perhaps DePauw was moving.
I would guess it was Wabash. That was part of DePauw's game plan today, to stop their blitzing linebackers to go on long counts.
You look at number 12, Weedhoff, a 6'2", 195-pound sophomore. He has been doing it with his feet as much as his arm this year, but he shared playing time with Yoder. And whatever they were trying to do with the two quarterbacks, Joe, at least it worked in terms of picking up yardage. It drew Wabash offside and add 5 more onto it. So it's going to bring up a second down and just about a yard for a first down in Wabash territory now at the 44 for the first time for DePauw. And getting it is Weedhoff. He's going to try to run, but nowhere to go.
That was actually a pre-planned, scripted play by DePauw. They planned to play both quarterbacks on that play, hoping to break something out with Weedhoff. He may be the best runner on the team, even though he's a quarterback. Okay,
as we take a look at the offense of DePauw, and in the backfield, Jackson leads them with a 5.9 yards per carry. The receivers, very talented, Shepard and Culp, and on that front line they have one Oak Andrews who weighs 350 pounds or 50 pounds more than the Monon Bell. It is 3rd and 1, and on the keeper, a first down for DePauw.
DePauw got a huge line push there. They've got a very big offensive line.
Yoder keeps it and he goes in. And here is the defense of DePauw, Wabash, ranked 5th in the nation, led by tackle Hammer, who could become the all-time sacks leader. Finelli is a terrific linebacker. 3 interceptions. He's taken 2 of those back for touchdowns this year. In the secondary, Johnson is all-conference, and Deno has 3 interceptions. And it's 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line of Wabash. The DePauw drive started on a short kick, a bad punt by Wabash that gave the Tigers excellent field position at their own 45-yard line. Yoder is the quarterback once again, as they brought in Weedhoff just a minute ago, but it was Yoder who carried it for the first down and now operates out of the shotgun. Looking, throwing, and he has his favorite target in Shepard. Shepard trying to get away from a couple of men, but they'll catch up with him eventually.
Looked like that ball actually got tipped a little bit.
Blair Hammer, whom Kenny mentioned a moment ago, senior defensive lineman, 1 sack away from the career sacks record, made the tackle. And this is an important game for Blair. He has been hampered all year long by 2 very bad ankles that should have been operated on over the offseason. He elected not to have surgery so he could play, and he's been limited most of the year. We'll see how Blair plays today in his final game as a Little Giant.
They pick up 5 on the pass, 2nd and 5 at the 37 of Wabash. And Yoder looks to pass, now running. Gets it down to around the 33. Might have picked up about 4 yards, 3 at least on that play.
Andy's a very big guy. He's as big as some of the linemen out there. When he gets going, he's tough to bring down. He has an interesting story, too. He was a quarterback up in Goshen, Indiana, and played 2 undefeated seasons as a junior and a senior, and played in a state championship game.
Well, he picks up 3. He needs 2 for the first down. 3rd and 2. And the handoff to the first man through fools no one, as Blair Hammer is there to meet him and stop the series here in all probability for DePauw. Let's go down the sideline now with Kandace Krueger.
Kenny, I spoke to Andy Yoder earlier this week, and he talked about his desire to win that bell. He said, you know what, it's heartbreaking not to have it. He said it hurts every time he walks by that empty case. He would know what it's like his first 2 seasons here. He did have the bell. You can bet he's got that desire and that drive to win it back his senior season going out.
Thanks, Kandace. You take a look at the senior who had 4 touchdowns earlier this year, 4 touchdowns passing against Millsaps in a big 55-34 win. And right now, we're facing a 4th down and 2 at the 33 for DePauw.
Looks like they're going for it.
And they are going for it. It would be a longer kick than they're probably able to get. So they're going for it on 4th and 2 at the 33 of Wabash. And again, stepping way back in the shotgun now is Yoder. Aha. And a little pooch punt that is going to make the end zone. It does. So it's a touchback. It'll bring it out to the 20. But you never know what to expect from a Nick Morose's coach team, do you? And that's one of the things, as you see the coach there talking with his senior QB.
No, he's full of surprises. I would have liked to seen us go for that, but they're playing the field position game, and that's probably the smart thing to do today.
If you look at Chris Creighton right there, who was a quarterback himself at Kenyon College, was the offensive player of the year, and then was a coach of the year last year in leading Wabash to an unbeaten season. He's the only member of the NCAC conference to ever pull that off. So let's see what Wabash can do now on their second series, 1st and 10 from their own 20. Russ Harbaugh, the quarterback. Takes the handoff, he's throwing, and it's intercepted. A beautiful pick by David Blackbird. Blackbird had broken up 6 passes this season and has his first interception coming out of nowhere to pick it off, and DePauw will get great field position at the 30 of Wabash after the INT.
Boy, David comes in and makes a great play on that ball. He is actually from Indianapolis Ben Davis High School, one of the best, probably the most storied high school in the state of Indiana. He's had a great career, and he really made a nice play on that ball.
You notice Bernal was waving well before Harbaugh threw the ball. That has been one problem Harbaugh has fought all year long, is his timing. When he is off his game, he's about a step late releasing the football. He was there. This is not a good start at all for the Little Giant offense.
Perhaps not a good start as well for DePauw, who gets this excellent field position after the big interception, and now they have to take a timeout.
Something must not have been right. It looks as if Nick might be upset about personnel or what he had on the field at that time. It's probably best to use the timeout now and get yourself sorted away straight.
Let's see if the Tigers can take advantage of the David Blackbird interception that gives them great field position for their second offensive series. They have it at the Wabash 30. And in at quarterback is Ross Wheathoff, who runs more than Yoder does. We'll see if that's an effect. Going in motion and getting the handoff here is Jamarcus Shepard, who fires it back over to Wheathoff. He's at the 20, to the 15, inside the 10, and he goes out of bounds and around the 8-yard line. Always expect some trickery from Coach Morose's club, and you see it there with Wheathoff, who is fast, likes to run the ball, and he gets the pass from the man he's usually throwing it to, Jamarcus Shepard.
That's right. They had a little handoff to Jamarcus here, who then throws it back to the quarterback, Wheathoff, who's got great speed. He's a terrific runner.
The play covers 21 yards and takes it to the 9, where it is 1st and goal for the DePauw Tigers. Now the Wabash defense really tested, as they were on the first series when DePauw had great field position. Back in now is Yoder, the passing quarterback, who hands it off to Rust, and he's in for the touchdown. Jackson Rust with his 7th touchdown of the season, and DePauw strikes first. That was just ram it down your throat football, as we see Rust, the 5'10", 205-pound senior running back.
Well, the line push there for DePauw was unbelievable. It looks like they may have even caught them unawares. Maybe they had a linebacker blitzing on the outside.
John Wallace, 17 for 22 on extra points. 18 for 23. And the home team, DePauw Tigers, trying to get the bell back here in Greencastle after losing the last 2 years to Wabash, have a 7-0 lead with 8:59 to go in the first quarter.
Field position also a big key so far in this game. DePauw hasn't had to go very far to move the ball here in the first quarter.
That's always the biggest thing. If you can shorten up that drive in a game, that makes all the difference.
John Wallace will kick it off for the second time. Number 1 hoping to make a big play, and he has the capability of doing it. Josh Brunall. Brunall, 5'11" senior, grew up nearby here in New Ross, Indiana. He knows about this rivalry. Again, it's a line drive kick that Brunall will pick up at his 12. to the 20, the 25, spins around and gets across the 30. Nice work with it after he got it in his hands out to the 31-yard line, where Wabash will start their second offensive series. They have stats for everything in this series. I don't know how much this will matter, but on November 15th games, as of this day, DePauw has won 4 and Wabash has won 3. We'll see if that plays out. DePauw up 7-0. Wabash trying to catch up now. Harbaugh is the quarterback. Has Aaron Lafitte running out of that. And Lafitte has it. And is met with only black shirts as he tries to pick up some yards. Maybe got back to the 31, the line of scrimmage.
It looks like Mike Lazinski was in on that play, linebacker for DePauw. He missed last year's game, went down with a knee right before the game, and that was a huge loss for the Tigers. He's a senior, and he's one of their best players on defense.
Well, he picks up a couple of yards on that to the 33, where it will be 2nd and 8. Aaron Lafitte, a freshman out of the Phoenix, Arizona area, Goodyear, Arizona. He needs 93 yards coming into this game to become the first freshman to rush for 1,000 yards in Wabash history. He is the lone tailback now. Harbaugh to pass, complete to Nick Dawson, the tight end at the 36. And Lazinski, number 42, in on the action to help bring him down.
A short pass play, but one that is good for Russ Harbaugh. The Little Giants need to get him to calm down, complete a couple of passes, and get into some rhythm. There was a 3-step drop. He planted, got rid of the ball before Dawson came out of his break. That's the kind of play Harbaugh needs to settle down and move this offense down the field.
Well, it's still a 3rd down and 5 situation at the 36, just picking up a couple on that. Harbaugh working out of the shotgun. 3 receivers going out to the left. 3rd and 5 flags everywhere.
Looks like Wabash moved early on that one. Trying to get a head start on that pass route.
Good call, you old quarterback.
Well, we occasionally see a few things out there anyways.
The Little Giants are playing 13 freshmen and sophomores in their regular lineup. And where that youth has been most evident has been when the Little Giants have traveled this season. They are just 1 and 3 on the road. And I think already today we're seeing some of the problems the Little Giants have away from home. Penalties, mistakes, out of rhythm offensively.
Well, the 5 yards moves it back to the original line of scrimmage. It is now 3rd and 10 from the 31. Harbaugh out of the shotgun. Firing it over the middle, has his man at the 50 to the 45-yard line. It's Brandon Clifton picking up the first down on a big pass from Rush Harbaugh, and for the first time, Wabash is now in DePauw territory.
This is Brandon Clifton's 12th catch on the season. He runs right down the seam in the middle of the DePauw zone. Harbaugh had plenty of time to throw, zips it right over the middle on a big catch from Brandon Clifton, who went to McCutcheon High School near Lafayette. Clifton has had a rough year. He took a very hard shot to the neck and the side of the head in the game against Huntington in week 3. Missed 3 games after that with some nerve problems in his arm. He's just now rounding back into form for Wabash.
A 36-yard reception that gives the first down for Wabash at the 44 of DePauw, and the handoff goes to Lafitte, looking for room on the left side. Turns the corner, gets down across the 40 and run out of bounds at around the 38-yard line. He is part of that sunshine pipeline that Wabash has now. Joe coming in from Arizona.
12 Little Giant freshman football players from the state of Arizona. Here's Lafitte getting outside. Lafitte is not a lightning quick back. In fact, Chris Morris is faster on a dead run. What Lafitte can do is make people miss, and he did there. He broke the first tackle at the line of scrimmage, bounced to the outside.
Picks up 6 down to the 37. It is 2nd down and 4 for Wabash. Trailing 7-0 to DePauw with 5:48 to go in the first quarter. Again, Lafitte gets the handoff. It gets it down to the 35.
As Kenny mentioned earlier, Lafitte comes into the game needing only 93 yards to become the first freshman and just the 10th Wabash running back in history to rush for 1,000 yards. He's already, in just 9 games, established freshman records for rushing yardage with 907 and rushing touchdowns with 15.
He picks up a yard. It is 3rd and 1 at the 35. And did they get it? They go with the big guy, Brandon Roop. And I believe he has it. Roop, a 6'1" sophomore from Newburgh, Indiana. They like him in these situations, don't they?
Roop is a very good all-purpose H-back. They use him to block in the running game. He can also catch the ball. He's a very good receiver. More often than not, actually, they'll use Russ Harbaugh on a quarterback sneak in short yardage situations. That one probably just a little too long to rely on the quarterback sneak.
Got the sticks out to see. He needed about a yard, and he got it, and then that much more. So a first down for Wabash to keep the drive going. At the 34 of DePauw, 1st and 10, the Little Giants operate. Number 3 is Russ Harbaugh, a 6'1", 180-pound sophomore who's thrown for over 1,500 yards coming into this game and just had that beauty of a first down pass on a big 3rd and 10 play to Brandon Clifton. Here we go, 1st and 10 at the 34 of DePauw. Second man, Lafitte, does some dancing and probably wiggled his way to pick up a couple of yards when it looked like nothing was there for him. Let's go down the sideline to Kandace.
Kenny, I'm sure you can hear the crowd all around us. Sold out crowd, as you mentioned earlier, just a little below 8,000 people. They sold the tickets in a record of 48 hours. When we were on campus earlier this week, talked to some students who were unhappy because they didn't have their Monon Bell tickets.
Everyone wants a Monon Bell ticket if you live in Greencastle or Crawfordsville or somewhere in between here in West Central Indiana. Pickup of 1 on the last play. It is 2nd and 9 at the 33, and Harbaugh again back to pass with some pressure on him, throwing it over the middle and way over the head of Brano.
It's a flag down too.
We have a flag back around the 35, and it's going to be a hold against Wabash.
A little surprised on that play action that they ran such a deep route. He's just starting to get in a nice rhythm. He looked good in the pocket the last time, and they really took a big bite that time, and as a result, they had a holding call. That play took a long time to develop. I like the shorter routes with him right now. Get him in a rhythm and see what he does.
He is just a sophomore. At times he's played like a senior. At times he's played like a sophomore. And you're right, Rob. When he can throw the short and intermediate routes, he becomes a much more comfortable quarterback, and he really gets into a rhythm. This is very much a rhythm offense. And when it's clicking, it's as good as any in the country. And when it's not, it just simply grinds to a halt.
He can throw the ball. You can see that. I like the idea of giving him a chance to hit a few short ones.
We talked about the Wabash defense, of course, and all their records that they have coming in. DePauw they've been able to make some big plays as Coach Creighton looks on the sideline now on what has gone from being short yardage to 2nd down and 19 back at the 43 of DePauw. Harbaugh, little shovel pass to Lafitte, and everyone reads that. Leading the way in there, number 42, Mike Lazinski, who has had a terrific year, and this his senior season out of West Lafayette, Indiana. And Jeremy Legg, number 41, 2 very active linebackers.
See Harbaugh slipping again, disrupting some of the timing of the play. Harbaugh, more than anyone else, seems to be having trouble with the footing. That's the 3rd time on this series that he's planted to throw, or in this case, pitch the ball, and he's had trouble.
They get a yard on the play. It's 3rd and 18 from the 42 of DePauw. Again, a huge 3rd down. The last time they had one like this, Harbaugh converted. Will he this time? Protection breaking down. He's firing it over to the sideline, and it is incomplete. Brought down by Eric Summers, but he was out of bounds.
Darren Lasley was right in his face when he had to throw that ball, and it hung up there for a long time.
take another look at it and the pressure that Harbaugh feels right here. Number 47, Swift, is everywhere right now on the field.
Stop right there.
And there goes Lasley right at the end to put the pressure on. So it's time to kick it away once again on 4th down, and Garth Cheek will be doing the punting. Had a bad one the last time. This one is a little wobbly, but it comes down at the 20 and met and taken down right there on the return.
That was
with
Billy.
Absolutely no place to go was Billy King.
Excuse me, Kenny. Billy King, one of the Arizona contingent. He is a freshman. Actually, he is old enough to be a sophomore. Took a year off from college football last year in an attempt to play professional minor league baseball. Then came to Wabash this fall and has made a difference on special teams and has also become a starter at cornerback.
And so DePauw leading at 7-0 with 2:50 to go in the first quarter. Comes back onto the attack. 1st and 10 at their own 12. Yoder back in at quarterback. It's deflected. I believe big number 97, Daryl Keenan, got his hand on that, about 6'4" freshman.
He made a nice play on that ball because Andy Yoder looked right first, came back to the left, and he was right there, got his big paw out on that thing.
So it's now 2nd and 10 at the 12 of DePauw. They'll send receivers out to the left, 2 receivers there. The lone setback is Matt Keene. And Yoder is looking and throwing, and it has a completion. Going over to the far sideline from where we're located to Torrey Roush, a 6'2", 190-pound junior from Crawfordsville, making his 15th catch of this season.
That was a good safe route, and no chance of that being picked. He ran a nice route and get half of that yardage on 2nd down.
They pick up 4, bringing up a 3rd and 6 from their own 16. Yoder 3 out of 4 on the day, as you see there, 14 yards. His favorite receiver, Jamarcus Shepard, going in motion, but he completes the pass over the middle to Brian Culp and picks up the 1st down. Big pass there from senior quarterback Andy Yoder, hitting sophomore receiver Brian Culp.
Wabash had 22 sacks through its first 9 games. They've been blitzing all afternoon, but simply cannot get pressure on Andy Yoder. That's a big play for the DePauw offense. Wabash really needed to force 4th down and get its defense off the field. They've been out there almost the entire quarter.
It's 1st and 10 now at the 30 on the 14-yard completion from Yoder to Culp, as DePauw keeps driving. Inside handoff, Matt King. King trying to find something up the middle, picks up a couple of yards, and as you might expect, and Rob, you know this better than any of us, you were the man that was here the first year that Nick Morosis arrived, so you know he's going to try different things, looking for balance and looking to keep the defense off balance as much as possible.
And he will, and you saw it there that time. They almost jumped off again. He went to a long snap count again, a good hard count on the first one. Go on the 2nd count. They're trying to draw the offsides on these blitzes that Wabash keeps throwing in.
They pick up 4, which makes it 2nd and 6 at the 34. 2 receivers out to the left. That's where Yoder is looking, throwing, and just off the hands of Jamarcus Shepard, incomplete. On this DePauw team, they talk about trying to have balance, and they do. They have 4 men who've scored 6 touchdowns this year, 2 men with 4 touchdowns this season. And Yoder, a veteran quarterback, who is one of the reasons, at least that's what Coach Nick Morosis told me yesterday, that he decided to come back this year. He's part of the 26 seniors. He thought that they would have a playoff team. So even though they have a winning record, it has not been the season that they were hoping for at DePauw. But of course, the winner of this, the Monon Bell game, that makes up for any other losses during the course of the year. On 3rd and 6 at the 34. Flag is thrown. And Yoder is running for the sideline. He will not get there. Sandwiched it around the 39-yard line.
I think you're going to see a holding call anyways.
Josh Foster among those that got over to tackle the DePauw quarterback, and it is a hold that will once again bring up a 3rd and long situation.
Andy Yoder's back in the pocket here, and he's looking around, and there's nobody open. Actually, this was a very smart play on his part because he looked around, and surely that might have been picked if he'd thrown it.
Well, it's tough to continue to go against the Wabash defense, one that has pitched 2 shutouts already this season and ranked 11th in the nation in scoring defense. They've given up just about 11 plus points a game. They're ready to give up 7 with 45 seconds to go here in the first quarter. It's now 3rd and 15 at the 24. Yoder out of the shotgun. Pressure on, firing over the middle. Intercepted. Intercepted by Wabash.
Senior Stu Johnson with the interception for the Little Giants. They had a turnover ratio of +3 coming in. That's low for a Neil Nethery defense. They get one back after the Harbaugh interception. A huge play, and it all started with the pass rush up front. We mentioned the game plan was to blitz. For the first time today, they get real pressure on Yoder, forces him into a mistake, and Stu Johnson's interception turns the tide.
Johnson, a 6'1" senior all-conference player out of West Lafayette, Indiana. We'll see if Wabash can capitalize. DePauw had an interception and scored the only points of this game. Can the Little Giants do it as well? 1st and 10 at the 34 of DePauw with 27.5 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Handoff is given to Lafitte. Fights for a couple before being brought down. And that will in all likelihood be the last play of the first 15 minutes here at Blackstock Stadium on the campus of DePauw University in Greencastle, Indiana, where the home team is leading 7-0 over Wabash in the battle for the Monon Bell. The 110th meeting between these two clubs, and we still have 3 quarters to go. It's DePauw 7, Wabash nothing after 1 quarter. DePauw on the board first, 7-0. They were able to take advantage of an interception early. And here it is, and watch this play. Sliding in out of nowhere and making the diving catch was Blackbird. And that set up this play, which was a trick play where the quarterback gave it to the receiver and Shepard fired it back to lead off the quarterback to set up eventually a big play. Throwing down the sideline and complete as we get back to live action. Brandon Clifton hauling in the pass from Rush Harbaugh, and that was a big play to start the second quarter here for Wabash.
Clifton's second catch of the afternoon. Both of them have been to convert first downs, and now the Little Giants with their first realistic shot at the end zone. Here's the replay. Harbaugh, very steady in the pocket, fires a bullet to Clifton on the sideline. Last night at practice, Harbaugh looked very good. He threw a beautiful ball all night in practice, and he really, after a shaky first series, has settled down and moved the team relatively well.
That makes it 1st and goal at the 9 for Wabash. Their deepest penetration yet into DePauw territory. Handoff is given to Morris. He's in for the touchdown. Chris Morris, 5'11", 196-pound senior from Zionsville, Indiana, picks up his 10th touchdown of the season.
Chris Morris, the second leading rusher in school history. That is his first career touchdown in the Monon Bell game.
And it's just this simple. Hand to Morris, who may be the quickest man in the backfield. Joe, you see him all the time.
He is certainly faster than Aaron Lafitte on a dead run, as only Olmstead converts the extra point to tie the game at 7. They were able to get Morris to the outside behind left tackle Brandon Barkley, left guard John Maddox, and H-back Brandon Root.
Got a ball game here, fellas.
Well, both coaches talked about the importance of turnovers, and this is why. As you see, they go 3 plays, had to move just 34 yards after the big interception, and it was Morris taking it in from 9 yards out to tie the score, and all set up, of course, by Stu Johnson's interception. So Blackburn and Johnson in the secondaries for the respective teams coming up with big picks that eventually led to touchdowns for the offense. 7-7, 14:48 to go here in the second quarter. And now the Little Giants from Wabash will be kicking it off. And waiting to receive the kick for the first time today is the dangerous Jamarcus Shepard, averaging 38.8 yards. That's right, 38.8 yards per kickoff return. That is leading every division in college football today. A one-hopper to him that he has trouble with, but picks up at the 4. And there he goes to the 30, spins around and gets it out to the 34. A 30-yard return on that from Jamarcus Shepard when it looked like he might have trouble just getting back to the 20. At least most normal men, it seemed, would, Rob.
Yeah, you're going to see here in the replay, it looks like this was going to be a really bad kickoff for DePauw, but he picks it up and picks a hole and gets out over 30 yards, which is actually under his season average. That tells you how good this boy is.
He averaged 27.7 yards per return last year, and then has really blossomed this year. He's returned 2 back for touchdowns already this season, both in the same game. And it's 1st and 10 now at the 34 as DePauw comes back onto the attack. And in at quarterback is Wheathoff, the sophomore, who hands it off. And carrying it is Jackson Rust, who has scored the touchdown in this game for DePauw. The senior averaging 5.9 yards per carry this season. And on that, he picks up 3 to make it 2nd and 7 up to the 38. Rust now moves to the right side as Wheathoff continues to count it off. Receivers out to the left. Wheathoff running right, up to the 40. And moving in there was Aaron Selby, the linebacker from Wabash, to make the stop. Let's go down to Kandace.
Kenny, when I sat down with Coach Morosis before the game, he described today's matchup as the final exam. He said they've had 9 exams thus far. They haven't gone as well as they had planned, but today is it. Today is the final exam.
And Nick Morosis loves to go through these exams and gives you plenty of stuff to study, doesn't he, Rob, when you're getting ready for a big game on this 3rd and 4 now for DePauw?
Yes, he does. He'll get you in the film room all week.
Pressure on Wheathoff, and he's brought down. There's that defense of Wabash, and there is the sophomore outside linebacker, T.T. Jackson, 5'11" from Evansville. Had a career-high 10 tackles against Huntington College earlier this year. He gets in to record the sack.
He's one of the really good young players Coach Creighton has recruited to Wabash. A breakout year for T.T. Jackson, his first as a starter. 2.5 sacks now on the season. Big play there off the blitz.
And DePauw will have to punt it away. Kick is short. Wabash man with some room. He's across the 45, tripped up and goes out at the 47-yard line. That's Billy King, 5'11" freshman. One of them we were talking about. Joe's come in from Peoria, Arizona, averaging a little over 11 yards per punt return. That's set up for a nice return for him as he gets it out to around the 47-yard line of Wabash, where they will begin their series. But we have a flag back here at the 35 in DePauw territory. And it's a hold on the return from Wabash, I'm guessing. Well, it's going to go back, as you can see here. They're going to mark it off against Wabash. A hold on the punt return. So that'll negate the nice yardage picked up by Billy King. Another flag thrown. You see the penalties. Wabash, 4 of them on the day. Only 1 so far for DePauw. That was an offside early.
And there has been a penalty thrown on the Wabash sideline.
He was very upset with that spot, and this is key because neither team has done very well today with no field position.
The ball stays at the 23. I think Creighton was more or less warned, you think, on that? So it's 1st and 10 at the 23. That's where Wabash will start in their own territory. Russ Harbaugh, the quarterback, has a lone setback in Chris Morris. He's looking to throw and airing it out deep. He has a man wide open open, but he overshoots him. It was Eric Summers who was running at the 30, and it's set up perfectly, but Harbaugh just let him a little too much.
He threw that ball almost 60 yards in the air.
Little Giants running that play, off-play action, something they can do after having established the run a bit on their last drive, and you see the arm strength of Russ Harbaugh. Just a sophomore. Little Giants fans were spoiled after seeing Jake Knott, an All-American, play for the last 4 years and play as one of the better quarterbacks in the country a year ago as a senior. But Russ Harbaugh, if the Little Giants win today, goes 7-3 as a rookie starter and puts himself in position over time to be one of the better quarterbacks the Little Giants have had.
Morris again, the lone setback. Man in motion on 2nd and 10, and Morris keeps. Morris across the 30 to the 35, and he gets it out to around the 37-yard line. Chris Morris moving closer and closer now to becoming the all-time rusher in Little Giants history.
This season has told us a lot about Chris Morris's character as a young man. Came into the season as a senior, coming off of a year in which he rushed for 1,500 yards and was a first-team North Coast Athletic Conference running back, honorable mention All-American, and then all of a sudden lost his starting spot to the freshman Aaron Lafitte. Throughout it all, he has not complained. He's been a mentor. He's been a leader to Aaron Lafitte, and when he has had his opportunities, he's made the most of them.
That picks up the first down, 1st and 10 at the 36. And again, they'll try to run against that DePauw front. And maybe he gets the yard on it.
They've not had much success inside. Most of their carries have come outside, and they've done a great job out there, but not up in the middle.
As we mentioned earlier, DePauw has had great success in stopping the Little Giants running game over the years. Wabash has had just 2 100-yard rushers in the last 9 Monon Bell contests. But other than the first series, they've done a pretty good job establishing the run with both Morris and Lafitte.
No gain on that. 2nd and 10 at the Wabash 36. 2 backs now behind Harbaugh, who again is looking and throwing it complete. Brana has it down the sideline. He is in DePauw territory. And Josh Brana, who has hauled in 43 passes this season, and is closing in on some all-time marks as well as he continues to move up the ladder. He needs 1 more catch to be tied for 12th all-time on the Wabash list, and just about 50 more yards to move into 11th place all-time. Picks up the first down and moves the ball down to the 40 of DePauw. So Wabash putting together a nice drive. On the slot on the right side this time. Working out a shotgun is Harbaugh. 1st and 10 at the 40. Harbaugh scrambling out, throwing it, and he finds his man in Eric Summers. Summers coming in as the safety valve and picks up about a yard on that catch.
He had a lot of pressure there, but as the game goes on, he looks better and better in the pocket.
So it's 2nd and 9 after the pickup of 1. Gets the ball down to the 39 of DePauw. See number 9, Brandon Clifton, who's already made a couple of big catches. Back end.
That was really an 11-yard gain, because if he'd gotten sacked, he would have lost 10 yards.
Clifton coming out wide to the left. Bernal goes almost, now he goes in motion, now comes back the other way. And there's the handoff instead to Morris. Morris is down inside the 35 to around the 32-yard line as the senior continues to build on that resume that's been so impressive over the years. 240 yards and four count them touchdowns last week against the overmatched Hiram team that were routed 81-0 by Wabash. As we take another look at Morris.
Well-designed play. Harbaugh sold the draw very well. Looked like he was going to sprint out, tuck the ball inside to Morris, who picks up good yardage to bring up 3rd down and short. And this is where the Little Giants want to be if they're on 3rd down, 3rd and less than 5.
It's 3rd and 3 at the 33. Morris will not get the first down. Number 42, Lazinski, among those there to bring him down and throw him back, and Joshua Swift also in on that.
I'm surprised they didn't go outside they've had a lot of success pinning DePauw's defensive ends in and getting outside on the sweep. Every time they've challenged inside, they've been pushed back.
They'll measure here, but I would be very surprised if this is not 4-down territory for the Little Giants with the current field position.
So both teams are playing for this game only. There is no tomorrow. There's no playoffs for either team. So I would think that you would go with this one on 4th down.
It's going to be a good yard, as you see from the measurement to go. 4th and a long one at the 31-yard line. What about their kicking? Any chance that they would go for a field goal, Joe?
I seriously doubt it. You're looking at a 48-yard field goal in wet, slippery conditions. Mark Server and Omi Olmstead split kicking duty. Server would kick from this distance. He had trouble in practice last night on a damp practice field. This is definitely 4-down territory for the Little Giants.
Again, we had a little bit of sprinkle this morning, not a downpour, but enough to make things damp around here. The field, though, holding up well. We played now 8:50 to go in the second quarter, and here it is, 4th and 1, big 4th and 1 for Wabash on the 31 of DePauw. And he's going to try to throw. Now he's keeping it, and he's brought down. And Swift stayed right with the play, was not fooled by it at all. Russ Harbaugh made a beautiful fake. It looked, of course, like they're going to run it. Then when he was keeping it, it was Swift, the senior, who stayed right there to bring him down. And we do have, I believe, is that a flag on the far sideline? Yes.
It was after the play.
We take another look at it. And you see Swift was covering the ground, wasn't he? I mean, he was coming from the other side of the field to make this play, but I thought that Harbaugh sold it.
He sold it great. His receiver wasn't open, and then we had a late hit.
Defensive tackle Patrick Kroner was flagged for the late hit. He came after the play and hit Harbaugh after he was already down and the play was blown dead.
So what a break for Wabash. As the officials confer, and Swift, and now Jeremy Legg, that's him, number 41, trying to get the attention. Hey, who's that number 1 there for Wabash? He's back again wanting to find out what's going on, isn't he?
I told you, he does not miss a meeting. He is in every possible conversation he can have on the football field.
Personal foul for a late hit against DePauw. A huge penalty against the Tigers, as they had just held Wabash on 4th and 1, and it should be they're taking over around the 34. Instead, it's now 1st and 10 down to the 21-yard line.
It just shows you the emotion of this game. It's hard to dial it back. He's got the quarterback in his crosshairs, and it's hard to back off at that point.
Morris is the lone setback. 3 receivers out to the left. Morris gets the corner. 15-10, touchdown. 21 yards for Chris Morris, his second touchdown of the day. And Wabash has taken the lead for the first time with 8:15 to go in the second quarter.
Joe, I know you guys like the freshman over there, but I'll tell you what, I like the way he runs.
He runs very hard. He gets to the corner quickly. He's difficult to bring down, and as I said earlier, his attitude's been great. Here's a senior who lost his starting job to a freshman. He has not let it affect him, and what a great way for Morris to get started today.
Olmstead will try for his second PAT, a line drive, but it makes it through, and that counts. It doesn't matter how pretty it is, as long as it's through the uprights. It's 14-7 now as we take another look at the speed of Chris Morris.
He gets to the outside, and once he turns the corner, the linebackers cannot catch him. A dead sprint to the end zone. And Kenny and Rob, that is an interesting play call for the Little Giants. In these situations, Chris Creighton usually likes to take a shot at the end zone. I think DePauw thought he was going to do that. They came with a 2-linebacker blitz. Little Giants caught him in the blitz, and Morris ran right by the linebackers. I really think DePauw was anticipating Creighton to stay with his tendency and take a shot at the end zone on first down.
I agree. That was a perfect call. We got that outside block in the end. There was nobody left.
Well, Morris now closing in, not just the 2 touchdowns today, but he continues to get closer to becoming the all-time rusher in Wabash history. And standing back to take the kickoff for the second time will be Jamarcus Shepard. There you see him, had a 30-yard return the last time. That is 8.8 yards below his, not just NCAA Division III leading average, but he leads all divisions of NCAA in kickoff returns this year. Obviously is going to be an All-American. He's had a spectacular season. And there's the kick. And here comes Shepard at the 15. They are all over him and drive him back. Great coverage by Wabash.
Momentum seems to have shifted in this game a little bit. It's interesting. It looks like DePauw is going back with Ross Weedoff, the sophomore. He's got great feet. He was a former All-State quarterback in Indiana, so it'll be interesting to see if they try to sprint him out a little bit and make some things happen.
We mentioned the Little Giants' struggles on the road, going just 1-3 in their 4 road games so far. But with the momentum shift and now having taken the lead, this DePauw crowd has gone silent, Rob.
They have.
Weedoff comes in. The sophomore will start this series. 1st and 10 at their own 16. Shepard is in motion, dancing over toward the right, and he gets it out in the flat. He's at the 20, moves it up to around the 22. They used that play earlier, and that's when Shepard stopped and fired it back to Weedoff to keep that drive going early that resulted in the first touchdown of the game. DePauw led it at one time, 7-0 for Coach Nick Morosis in his final game after 23 seasons and 138 victories. The winningest coach in Tiger history, calling it quits after today. A pickup of 6 on the play. It is 2nd and 4, out to the 22 now. Weedoff keeping, spinning, gets around the corner and goes out of bounds around the 30-yard line. He picks up the first down. A design play all the way for Ross Weedoff, who comes into this game not just passing the ball but rushing it as well. He had rushed for 501 yards coming into this Monon Bell contest.
Yeah, you have here just a little design quarterback draw, and Ross averages 6 or 7 yards a carry. He is the best running quarterback they've ever had here at DePauw.
And he picks up 7 on that to make it 1st and 10 out to the 33 for the Tigers, trailing it by 7. Receivers out to the left. That's where he's throwing, and it's complete. Floats it out there maybe a little bit, but it made it to the man who was supposed to, Jamarcus Shepard, hauling it in and picking up another first down for the Tigers.
Dustin Deno almost had this one picked. He's probably going to see that one in his sleep for the next few years.
Deno has 4 career interceptions against DePauw, but he is an all-or-nothing defensive back. He's always looking to make the big play, and right there it backfired on him as he missed the ball and allowed Shepard to get behind.
Oh, that was teasing him, wasn't it? Picks up a dozen on the play, makes it 1st and 10 out to the 44-yard line as DePauw keeps driving. Handoff up the middle. Trying to test that vaunted front line of Wabash to see if they can get something going. Wabash 10th in the country in rush defense, giving up just a little over 84 yards per contest. So they send King right into the heart of that lion to see if he can claw his way for some yardage, and he picks up 3 to make it 2nd and 7 at the 47. Both King and Weedoff looking to the sideline, and now they're going to have to take a timeout.
Play clock was running down, and they were still waiting for a signal. You could see about 10 guys on the field looking over at the DePauw sideline. They must have had some confusion as to what call they were going to make there.
Well, it is a cold, damp day here. Temperature in the mid-30s. Again, we had some rain this morning. What does that mean? Nothing when it comes to the Monon Bell game. 7,970 are here at Blackstock Stadium. No empty seats, and this is actually well above capacity because they had to bring in 4,000 temporary bleachers to accommodate the overflow crowd that they expect each year. 2nd and 7 at the 47. Let's see what play they have. Weedoff gets it, hands it off, No, he keeps it himself. Nice fake to me, but not to Wabash, as they were there to stop him for a loss of a couple.
Big Blair Hammer, the senior defensive tackle, in on the play again. As we mentioned earlier, Blair has struggled with injuries all year. He's barely practiced. The only time he's been in pads most of the season has been on game day. He was not fooled by the play action at all and was right there to seal off the play and make the tackle for the Little Giants.
So now it's 3rd and 9, and Weedhoff is going to have to pass, but not him. He's going to run. There's a flag thrown in the backfield. Tries to leap the man, can't get there. He goes down at the 48. And as a quarterback, Rob Doyle, you might want to remind him later on not to try to be leaping guys in open field.
Well, he's just athletic enough to do it, and I'm surprised they did not call an offsides penalty there on Wabash, because he went on a hard count, and they definitely jumped. That's another one I think they missed there. And then, of course, when your quarterback's back there scrambling, you always have the possibility of a holding.
Well, there is the holding that's going to bring it back even more. As T.T. Jackson's right about 6 feet. Weedhoff, quite the athlete to get up that high to try to sail over him. But now it is 4th and 7 at the 48. The DePauw drive has stopped, and it's time for them to punt it away. And coming in to kick it away for Wabash will be the quarterback, Weedhoff, who's done this several times, has brought it back. And it goes out of bounds at the 23-yard line, and that's where Wabash will take it over. Here we go on 1st and 10 at the 23. And there's the man again, getting the carry, Chris Morris.
I really like the way he picks his holes. There wasn't much there, and all of a sudden you look up, he's got 3 yards.
What kind of day has it been for Chris Morris? 59 yards rushing after that play. His career average against DePauw just 43 yards per game. So he has already had a career day against DePauw, or a career Monon Bell day against DePauw here in the first half.
He picks up 3 on that. It's 2nd and 7 at the 27. If he gets 30 more yards on the day, I believe doing the math, he will be the all-time leading rusher. As Harbaugh drops back to pass, and now feels the heat. Gets away from his man. Nice move, but can he find someone to throw it to? He does. It's Brandon Roop who comes in as the safety valve and makes the catch. Nice athletic moves by Rush Harbaugh to elude the tacklers enough to find some room and get it out to Roop.
That is a play 3 weeks ago Russ Harbaugh would not have been able to make. One of the knocks against Russ all year is that he had taken too many sacks. In fact, the Little Giants gave up 9 sacks against Worcester a couple of weeks ago in a conference game. But today, Harbaugh has shown great poise in the pocket, made a nice athletic move there, was patient, and made the throw to bring up 3rd down and short. Nice play for Harbaugh.
What could have been about a 10, 12-yard loss instead results in a gain. It's 3rd and 1 at the 33, and you give it to Morris, who gets the 1st down. It's now 4th and 1. He did not get it, so Wabash will kick it away. And it rolls dead at the 40-yard line, and that's where DePauw will take over as they come back on the attack.
Another short punt. Big games, special teams play a big factor. They've been huge today already. It'll be interesting to see if DePauw can take advantage of this very good field position they're getting with 3:29 to go. I think you can expect to see the 2-minute offense for the Tigers here.
A couple of times on punting today, it's not worked out well for Wabash in terms of giving them field position, but the first time around, Joe, they dodged the bullet. The defense held. We'll see if they can do it now as DePauw comes out 60 yards away from pay dirt, trailing 14-7 with 3:29 to go here in the first half. Movement, flags. Weedhoff still in at quarterback. He turns the corner, gets it up into midfield. He's to the 40, to the 35. He's to the 20. He may go. He does. Touchdown. Russ Weedhoff. Ross Weedhoff goes 60 yards for what appears to be a touchdown, but keep in mind there is a flag way back up here at the 40.
The defense moved on that. It was another hard count, something they've been planning on doing all day.
Did you have to know what the call was to look at Nick Morosa's face? Offside. Wabash declined a 60-yard touchdown return by the talented sophomore quarterback Ross Wheathoff, 6'2", 195-pounder out of Seymour, Indiana, his 7th touchdown of the season.
Well, you can see on that play why they were so excited to get Ross Wheathoff here at DePauw. Coach Nick has told me that he thinks Ross is as good an athlete playing quarterback as any team in the state of Indiana, and that includes all levels.
John Wallace out of the hold of Kyle McGrath to try to tie it.
Interesting story about that.
And he doesn't. It's blocked.
I actually coached Kyle McGrath in basketball when he was in 7th grade in Indianapolis. He's a very good kid.
Well, a great play just a moment ago. Let's take another look at the speed of Wheathoff, who's faster than he may first appear. Watch when he turns the corner and is gaining momentum, and it looks like maybe they'll catch him here, but no. And then maybe there, but no. Did a nice little dance to avoid the last man who had a chance at him to take it 60 yards for the touchdown. Now let's see here. Who got the hand on that? Can we tell for sure?
There again, special teams. Big game. We've got a 1-point game here, and you have a bad punt. DePauw goes down and scores, but then they don't convert.
Wallace will tee it up. Josh Bernal waits in the middle there to take it. At least Wabash is hoping it comes in his direction. Short kick. That's taken at the 23 by Billy King, and on the slippery surface, he goes down right on the spot.
The Little Giants have a formidable kickoff return team. Josh Bernal was among the nation's leaders a year ago, among the conference leaders this year. And if you kick away from him, you either kick it to Billy King or you kick it to Aaron Lafitte. So the Little Giants put a very good trio of kick returners back.
Leading at 14-13, 1st and 10 at their own 23. Wabash back on the attack. Harbaugh. Play fake, and he goes down at the 15. Upset with himself, but it has been still spitting a little rain. It's a little drizzle out there, and it's hard to pick up until you're actually right out there on it. But now we've seen back-to-back plays, Wabash players slip on the surface. First time that's been a factor all day, with 2:50 to go here in the first half.
He had a man open down the middle of the field if he had time to set up.
Oh, and didn't he know it? Didn't he know it as he was pounding the turf?
That is frustrating.
So after falling down, he loses 8 yards. It's 2nd and 18. Getting some of it back there, getting back close now to the original line of scrimmage.
I would guess that DePauw may be considering calling a timeout here, or most definitely after the next play. We've still got a couple minutes to go in the half.
Clock ticking down, 2:10 to go. It's 3rd and 13 at the 21. A 14-13 lead by the visitors from Crawfordsville, just 27 miles up Highway 231 here from DePauw and Greencastle, Indiana. The 110th meeting between these two schools in the Monon Bell. It is usually a classic game. We have the makings of one now. On 3rd and 13, Harbaugh throwing complete. He has the first down to Eric Summers. Nice move, he's up to midfield, and now crosses into DePauw territory, down to the 43-yard line. Nice catch, and then he did some work afterwards, did the 6-foot sophomore out of Cathedral High School in Indianapolis.
Summers is poised to be the heir apparent to Josh Bernal as this team's leading receiver. This is a very well-designed play. They have Bernal run the fly pattern to clear the zone. Summers then just runs a little curl route to sit in underneath the zone. Harbaugh did a nice job to be patient, wait on him, and fire the completion.
1st and 10 at the 44. Harbaugh throwing down the sideline. It's complete.
What a great catch by Brandon Clifton. That's the second time today they've run that play for Clifton, and he makes a spectacular catch on the far side to keep this drive alive at the DePauw 25-yard line.
Well, Clifton in a wrestling match, as we'll see here, who would come away with it. Harbaugh feeling the pressure, but he stayed into the pocket all day now. This kid's got a lot of guts. There he goes up with it and has to fight two men to come down with it, including Corey Partlow, number 21, was there. On 1st and 10 at the 25, Harbaugh slinging it for the end zone.
Got a flag down.
It's incomplete, flag is thrown. Had his man Nick Dawson turned around, it would have been a tough play to make anyway into double coverage, but a flag is down around the 10.
That may be against Wabash. That came before the ball was in the air, which usually means offensive pass interference. No, it's going to be against DePauw for a hold. I was afraid Dawson had pushed off there at the corner of the end zone.
Look who was open there. Renaud is open, but he didn't see him. He was going for the tight end. Dawson had him turned around. The penalty, though, moves it down now to the 15 of DePauw. And it's 1st and 10 for Wabash, leading at 14-13 with 55 seconds to go here in the first half. They have a chance to strike one more time. Whistle blows, timeout called DePauw.
He must not like his personnel. They've made some changes.
See the offensive plays here for Wabash, over 209 yards already. Carrying it again is Morse. He has run for the 2 touchdowns. Picks up a couple of hard yards going over the right side of the line. Well, as far as the time of possession in today's game, Joe, it's been a contest where you figured DePauw was hoping as much as possible to be able to move the ball against this great defense that Wabash has, nationally ranked in several categories, but it's been pretty much Wabash keeping control of things.
Early on, it appeared the Wabash defense couldn't get off the field, but now the Little Giants have a 6-minute advantage in time of possession as the first half winds down. That's exactly what the Little Giants would have hoped for. This offense is starting to get into a bit of a rhythm. Chris Creighton with a nice mix of play calling with the run and the pass. We might see some play action here and a shot at the end zone for Bernard, 2nd down.
Well, a big number to remember. There's 49 seconds to go here in the first half. On 2nd and 9 at the DePauw 14, Wabash as Harbaugh drops back, has some protection. Now he'll have to run it, and he's tripped up from behind by Swift.
That's okay. That's a nice decision for Harbaugh. He didn't throw a bad pass. He didn't take a sack. He just tucked it, ran, picked up positive yardage. Little Giants keep the ball moving forward. 3rd down here, but still a nice decision for Russ Harbaugh not to lose yardage by taking a sack.
They're going to have to get to him because he's got that much time to run around back there. He's going to find somebody.
In terms of most points in a half, 40 was scored once. Combined, 35 twice. We get one more score, this could become the 4th highest scoring half in the history of the Monon Bell.
One of those occasions for 35 points and a half was last year when the Little Giants on their way to an undefeated season jumped out to a 35-0 halftime advantage en route to the 35-7 win. This game, I think, Rob, as anticipated, much more competitive, much better balance. These two teams, I think, really were very even coming in.
Yeah, I agree. Last year, Wabash was very good. DePauw never got on track. Today, I think you've got 2 very good football teams, very well matched.
3rd and 6 at the 11. The DePauw faithful on their feet, wanting their defense to hold one more time. Harbaugh, shovel pass to Morris. He's going to score for the 3rd time in the game. Chris Morris takes the shovel pass in 11 yards, and it's 20-13, the Little Giants.
I have to admit, I wasn't a huge fan of that play early. It looked like things were all bunched up and you could have a bad play, but boy, they made all the blocks that time.
13 carries for 77 yards and 3 touchdowns for the senior Chris Morris.
Omi Olmstead from Alexandria, Ohio will attempt the point after. And goes off to the right.
Well, that could be huge in the second half. Now it's just an extra point and a touchdown. You don't need a 2-point conversion.
Take another look at it. There's the little shovel pass. That's all Morris needs.
Little Giants tried the shovel pass earlier in the game. Harbaugh slipped and it destroyed the timing. That time it worked to perfection. 6'1" junior right guard Dan Rodriguez made the key block to seal off the inside and allow Morris to turn the hat trick with his 3rd touchdown of the first half.
That key was the 3rd down and long play where he ran a little dig route from the outside. Really made a nice play that kept that drive alive.
Mark Server kicks it off, a bouncing ball that comes to the 25-yard line where it's fielded and brought up to around the 32. That's like playing a shortstop in the infield, isn't it? You got that bouncing grounder coming your way.
Or did you notice who they didn't kick the ball to that time?
Oh, yes. I believe returning that back for DePauw was Chris Brolsma, the fullback, a backup fullback. And DePauw will take over at the 33, and that's one of the things that Coach Morosis was talking about yesterday. Even if he doesn't get his hands on the ball, Jamarcus Shepard is so dangerous because teams have either kicked it out of bounds, kicking away from him, which gives it to him at the 35, or they kick short, giving it to him around the 30 anyway, so he's sort of picking up the yards without even being out there.
That's right.
Yoder is back in at quarterback, and on the screen has his man in Rust, who's across the 40 up to the 45. First down for DePauw. 12-yard pickup on that play right off.
Looks like Wabash was sending a lot of people there. Nice little screen pass to pick up some yards. Too bad they had to burn some timeouts earlier in the game on defense because they could use them now.
They have no timeouts, 20 seconds remaining. They had to stop the clock briefly to move the chains. Now it starts again and going to the sideline. And he has his completion there, and now the man is going to stay in bounds, though, and that's going to run some clock off. That is Walker Merker, a senior. Brad Walker Merker, a 6'3", 225-pound senior out of Columbus, Indiana, now in the game getting his first reception. He picks up the first down. Again, it stops the clock to move the marker, and now it starts back again. 12 seconds to go. Again, he goes to the sideline, and again he finds Walker Merker. And in that one, he picks up about 4 or 5 yards on the play, and they get it out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line of Wabash. The question is, with 8 seconds to go, Rob, is there any attempt that you can get it even close enough for a field goal, or do you have to shoot for the end zone?
I don't think so. Without any timeouts, I think you have to go for the end zone. I don't think they'll have enough time.
This might be the last play of the first half. 8.8 seconds to go. 2013. Wabash leads. DePauw has it at the 40 of the Little Giants. Yoder makes the fake, and now he's going to be brought down, and that should end the first half. He had to bring it back down, couldn't find his man open, and good defense once again by Wabash as we expected. That was Josh Foster, the sophomore outside linebacker, coming in to make the sack to end the first half. We played 30 minutes into the 110th meeting between DePauw and Wabash. They're battling for the Monon Bell, battling for pride, and it is that man, Chris Creighton, who is trying to go 3-0 in this series as a head coach, who goes into the locker room with a 20-13 lead here on DePauw's home turf.
Now, Coach, you talked earlier this week about how important it was not to make mistakes. You said the team with the fewest mistakes would come out with the win. You guys have had a few, an interception, a few big penalties. What do you do to turn that around and ensure that you don't make mistakes in the second half?
Well, we got to go in there and really tell the guys to concentrate and focus, because what's happening, that's exactly right. The mistakes are killing us. And I think if we go back there and settle down, we'll come out on top. That's a key thing. If the team's going to make the fewest mistakes, I told you earlier, it's going to win the game. And we've had our share already, so we're not going to have any this half. Okay.
Has it hit you yet that this is your final game?
Anyone?
Has it hit you yet that this is your final game?
No, I'm not worried about that. We're just going to win the second half. That's what we have to do.
Okay, best of luck, Coach. Thanks. Kenny?
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Kandace. Nick Morosis, 23 years here at DePauw. Has won more games than any Tiger coach. Right now, though, his team before the home crowd trailing. 3 touchdowns by Chris Morris has Wabash leading at 20-13. It's 20-13. Wabash is leading, and now let's go down to Kandace as we get ready to start the second half.
Thanks, Kenny. Now, Coach, a little bit of a slow start, but you guys certainly don't look like little giants out there now.
It was a slow start. You know, anytime that you put your defense in a predicament like we did, both offensively and special teams, makes it tough. We got a great defense, and if we let those guys play with good field position, we think we'll be okay.
Now, we've talked about the importance of this game. This is just your third season. You've won your first two. What would it mean to go in and win 3-0 against DePauw?
Well, it's not about me, but we got 14 seniors over there that means the world to, and it means the world to the whole football program, and we'd all be very, very happy to win here today.
Best of luck to you.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Coach. Kenny?
Thanks, Kandace. A great start for Chris Creighton in his third season. Take a look at the first half. It was DePauw getting up on the Russ touchdown, 7-0 after the turnover. Wabash comes back. Morris carries to tie it up. And then there's Morris again to make it 14-7. Wabash taking the lead for the first time. Quarterback Weedhoff with a beautiful run of 60 yards for DePauw to put them in close to tying it up, but they missed the point after to make it 14-13. Then Morris on a little shovel pass from Harbaugh scores, and Wabash misses the point after. Makes it the way it stands now, 20-13 as we get ready to start the second half of play. A total of 33 points scored in a half. That is the fourth most in the history of this 110-year-old rivalry. And now it's time to kick things off, and it will be Mark Serber booting it for Wabash. And standing back to receive is Jamarcus Shepard, who may get the chance, and does. He picks it up around the 5-yard line for DePauw and dances around and gets it back up across the 20 to about the 21. Jamarcus Shepard averaging 38.8 yards per kickoff return. At one time, he was up in the 40s this season in his return average, and he loves to get a hold of the ball and was even tracing it down the sidelines to pick it up and still pick up some yardage on that. And he gets the ball out to the 20, return of about 15 yards. They'll mark it officially at the 21, where it is 1st and 10. DePauw coming on the attack here to start the second half. For Coach Nick Morosis, 23 years, 138 victories, the most in school history. He is 11-10-1 in bell games. As you look at Jamarcus Shepard, also a dangerous threat as well when he gets the ball in his hands as a receiver. Andy Yoder, 6'2", senior from Goshen, Indiana, is the quarterback to start the second half. And he's throwing it complete to Shepard. A pickup of about 12 on the play. It is enough for a first down. Right away, the two veterans connecting. Yoder to Shepard, first down DePauw.
Just a little timing route there, a little out route from the inside receiver. He put it right where he had to, right before the break, and the defense had no chance to react.
1st and 10 at the 33. A pickup of a dozen on that play. Yoder hitting on 64% of his passes over the course of this season, 8 out of 11 today. And again, he's throwing, and again, it is to Shepard on the side. Shepard up to the 40, across the 40 to around the 43-yard line. They will go with that quick hitter to him to take advantage of the speed that the 6-foot junior out of Fort Wayne has this season. Came into this game with over 700 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns as a receiver. And they'll go without a huddle, as they will do from time to time in this offense. Pickup of 9, it is 2nd and 1 at the 42. Staying on the ground to see if they can get the first down.
Sophomore Aaron Selby there to make the tackle on the run with help from freshman Darrell Kennan, another one of the Arizona contingent.
Jackson Rust, who has scored a touchdown, and Matt King are in the backfield along with Harbaugh on that. They did not pick up the first down. 3rd down, about a yard to go. They're going to measure it. Maybe they, I don't know, what do you guys think? From this point, it looks like he's going to be a little short, and I mean a little short.
Not by much.
It is 3rd and a matter of inches. Any thrust from the offensive line should get this first down.
You've got a 225-pound quarterback in there. I would think that a quarterback sneak would be the best way to get this one.
Well, it's 3rd and inches. Ball out at the 43-yard line. DePauw coming out looking good early, trying to keep this momentum going. Yoder, the quarterback. The lone setback is Matt King. Receivers out to the left, including Jamarcus Shepard. You would imagine on this, the old quarterback does Yoder just go straight forward and get the first down and then go to work after that?
I would think so. They don't need much.
And that's what he does, and he has the first down and more as he bulls his way across the 45, moves it up to about the 48-yard line.
That wasn't a bad play. They might have to think about that one later.
Well, they would do that with the sophomore quarterback in there, Ross Wheathoff, who we know is known for his running, but look at Andy Yoder here.
It's like a fullback in there.
Staying on that right side behind Russ Sandifer, right guard, and Oak Andrews, all 350 pounds of him on the right tackle. He picks up the first down and then more. It's out to the 48 on 1st and 10. Out of the shotgun. He's running. Yoder following his blocker across midfield down to the 50, down to the 45. The ball is loose, but it's recovered by DePauw. Jamarcus Shepard always around the action, it seems, and a good thing for DePauw at that time that he was.
That ball fell on the ground about a foot away from defensive back Artie Montez. He was watching the play in front of him, and had he turned even a quarter of a turn, he would have been able to dive on the ball and recover it for the Little Giants. A good break for DePauw there not to turn it over despite the fumble.
How about big was that number 53, John Roth, a 6'2", 280-pound senior out of Westchester, leading the way. Handoff to Matt King, and King goes down to the 37.
I've noticed that on that last play on the fumble, Jamarcus Shepard was making a great block on that play. In the earlier pass in this drive, Brian Culp made a block. The DePauw's wide receivers really do block well. It's not just about catching passes for these guys.
Another first down, 1st and 10 at the 37 of Wabash. DePauw impressive in this drive. Handoff straight up the middle again. It is the 5'9", 180-pound senior from Tipton, Indiana, Matt King. King, who had 485 yards rushing coming into this game, averaging 4.4 yards a carry. As a sophomore, he had 199 yards in a single game, his career best, and he picks up 3 on that one. It's 2nd and 7, ball down to the 34. King looking to the sideline. And Coach Nick Morosis, what does he have up his sleeve here? You never know. We played just over 3 minutes into the second half. Yoder keeping it. Turns it downfield and gets it to the 32. He might have picked up a couple on that to bring up 3rd down.
Well, he's a load when he gets going. There just wasn't much room out there.
This will bring up 3rd and 5 down at the 32. Plays being run in. Brian Culp, one of the receivers, coming back in. There's Yoder, who's carried for 19 yards. You don't expect him necessarily to be the guy running the ball, although he has 2 rushing touchdowns this season. Here it is, 3rd and 5, and he's going to throw this time. Steps up in the pocket, fires over the middle, incomplete. He was going for, now the flag is thrown, he was going for Brian Culp, and right there with him, step for step, with some good defensive play.
Come on, John, call it.
It's very interesting.
Was Stu Johnson, the man who had an interception earlier.
Kyle McGrath, number 7, lobbied for that call. And as I said before, I know him personally. He's a very smart kid, a very witty kid, and I suspect that his lobbying for that call may have played a big part in that.
What do you think? There's Johnson. He got the hand in, looks like. He got that right hand on him before it came in. Good call.
He definitely did.
Good call. First down now. It moves the change. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. DePauw drive started back at their own 21. Out of the shotgun, Yoder. Floating it for the end zone. It's incomplete. The man goes down that he was throwing for, Torrey Roush. No flag is thrown. It was over his out of bounds. Although from the sidelines we're hearing from DePauw, you've got to be kidding me, and I recognize that as one Nick Morosis, who's been there for 23 years.
Well, he may have wanted that one, but that was a good no call.
Take another look.
Jamarcus Shepard was actually open over on the other side of the field, but I bet they were planning on going for the big one in that one.
Well, no doubt Roush was down before the ball got there, but was it catchable? The ref said no. 2nd and 10 at the 28. And And again, Yoder is keeping it. He's down to the 20 to around the 19. You're watching one of the great college rivalries today, Wabash taking on DePauw. Our next college football game of the HDNet College Football, it will be Saturday, November 22nd at 12 noon. Harvard against Yale. Ivy League action, Harvard and Yale coming up on HDNet Saturday, November 22nd at noon. A pickup of 3. Big third down here. The drive's been going so well. It's at the 20-yard line of Wabash. On 3rd and 7. Out of the shotgun again, Yoder, who's been in all the way in this series, and it was almost picked off. T.T. Jackson right there, in and out of his hands, and of course no one knows it more than the young sophomore from Evansville, Indiana.
Not only was that a near interception, had he caught it, he's gone for a touchdown to extend the Little Giant lead. But a nice play. He closes very quickly on the ball. Little Giants, as they've done all day, blitz, and Jackson had it on his hands, but it brings up 4th down. And one of the bright spots of the Wabash defense in the first half was its work on 3rd down conversions, holding DePauw to just 2 of 6 in the first half.
Neither team known for their field goal kicking, plus it is a wet surface, so on 4th and 7 at the 20, they go for it. Here's Yoder. No place to go. Wabash has stopped DePauw. The drive that started at the 21-yard line of the Tigers ends at the 20-yard line of the Little Giants.
Good stop for the Wabash defense. I think Yoder was a little tentative there, and he made a quick decision to run and just get upfield. I think he would have had the first down.
He also had a receiver in the flat early who might have gotten the first down, but he held it.
Darrell Kennan made the play. There you see 6'3" freshman. Again, one of the contingent from Arizona about which we've talked most of the afternoon.
Well, you're rolling the dice when you think you can keep running against Wabash, although DePauw has had some moments. Here's Chris Morris, who starts the offensive series here in the second half, picking up some yards for Wabash. And coming into the second half, just 22 yards away from becoming the all-time leading rusher in the school's history. And on that, he picks up 3, so we're down now to 19 yards as the Chris Morris watch continues. He has scored all 3 of Wabash's touchdowns in this game. 9:12 to go here in the third quarter. The Little Giants on the move on 2nd and 7 from their own 22. Root goes in motion to the right. Harbaugh throwing it complete at the 40-yard line. Brana was right there. And a nice touch pass by Harbaugh as he was looking for his senior receiver who hauled in 42 catches during the season, and he brings this one in for an 18-yard gain and a first down up to the 40-yard line.
Harbaugh is very good on the run, very accurate on the run. That time a design rollout, he hit Brana on the crossing route, but the key is for the first time this afternoon, Little Giants blocked the backside of the play. Josh Swift, who wreaked havoc in the Little Giants backfield in the first half, sealed off well that time. Little Giants making a nice adjustment at halftime.
Brana wide open to get that reception. 1st and 10 at the 40, and here's Morris again up to the 45. 5 more yards for the senior from Zionsville, who came into today with 9 touchdowns this season. He has scored 3 in this game, had 4 against Hiram in that 81-0 shellacking that actually even the coach, I was talking with Chris Creighton yesterday, you know, Joe, he was a little embarrassed that they won so big. He did everything he could to keep from doing that, including playing a 3rd-string quarterback in the second quarter. 2nd and 5 at the 45. Brana. He gets it up to midfield, close to that first down marker. Looks like he probably has that.
That was a very nice catch and run by Brana. Harbaugh hung him out to dry a little bit, threw that ball well behind him. Brana did well just to get his hands on it, and then turned upfield for a nice gain. You see the ball right behind him, but he makes a nice grab, gets the angle on the defender, and is very close to, he did pick up a Wabash first down. On that previous play when Morris ran up the middle for a gain of 4 or 5, that's one of the few times today the Little Giants have had any success running between the tackles.
Brana now 12th all-time receiving list, and he is moving closer to 11th place in yardage after making the catch on the all-time list. 1st and 10, play fake. Harbaugh steps up in the pocket. He's going to be brought down. Nowhere to go. Joseph DeSalvo, 6'1", 240-pound sophomore from Indy, was there to wrestle him down.
Joe made a nice play. Joe's used to playing in big games, though. He's from Indianapolis, Bishop Chatard, and he's played on a state championship team, so he knows what the intensity level's like.
Good pressure by DePauw. Harbaugh reluctant to pull the trigger quickly in the pocket. He had Bernard at a deep post, but did not pull the trigger early enough. Ended up taking the sack.
Loses 3 on that play. 2nd and 13 at the 47, back in Little Giants territory. Bernard gets it on the screen. He's to the 45, to the 40, and goes down at the 39-yard line. Banged into his own man and looked a little disgusted. I don't know if he had much more room to go. It seemed they were closing in, but you never know when the ball gets in his hands.
That one right out of Joe Tiller's playbook at Purdue. The middle screen with a wide receiver. Bernard sneaks right behind the linebackers, gets up the seam for a first down. Nice play call by Chris Creighton. Little Giants with a good balance of play calling today. And we talked earlier in the first half about the necessity for this Wabash offense to get in rhythm, and they have been in rhythm since early in the first quarter.
Another first down, 1st and 10, down to the 38 of DePauw. That was a big pickup there, 14 yards, and this is Morris looking for room. He gets it down to the 35, to the 30 before being brought down, and there's a bit of a gasp across the way in the Wabash section, because anytime Morris is carrying it, you figure there's a chance he can break it loose. Had a one for 70 yards for a touchdown this year, as we take another look at it here.
The H-back motion is the key to the play. Roop, as we've talked, was a good utility back. That time he sent Creighton sent Roop in motion, sealed off the end at the point of attack, and allowed Morris to turn it back upfield.
Joshua Swift had him, made a lot of tackles today, just couldn't hang on that time.
Picks up 6, 2nd and 4, down at the 32 of DePauw territory. The Little Giants trying for some more. Again, the play fake. Pressure is on. Harbaugh unloads, and it's complete. Nice sliding catch made by Brandon Roop, the sophomore from Newburgh, Indiana. And a nice play by Harbaugh. We've talked about the poise that this sophomore has shown. Look here, and coming right at him, and looked like he had him in his sights. He did, was Mike Lazinski, and it's tough usually to get away from that guy.
That was a very nice throw. The big thing back there is knowing when to throw, and Harbaugh's done a really good job today with that, getting rid of the football.
And he does enough for a first down to the 31. 1st and 10 again. Little Giants moving it. This drive began back at their 21-yard line. Morris will get it and get nowhere that time. It's the first time in maybe only about the 2nd time in the game he's going to have some negative yardage when he gets the ball in his hands. It's been a big day for the 5'11 senior.
He's now just 7 yards away from setting the new career rushing record, currently held by Daryl Johnson, Wabash class of '82. Rob, you and Daryl would have faced off a couple of times in your careers.
He was a very good player, very good running back.
Harbaugh brings him to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 at the 26. 4:45 to go in the 3rd quarter. Fast-moving quarter. Harbaugh trying to set, he slips, and that's all that Joshua Swift needed, as he's right there to bring him down and record a sack. 5.5 sacks on the season now for Swift, the senior from Forsyth, Illinois. And he and Lazinski and Legg, they know all about this series. All veterans, all seniors, and this is a huge game for them.
He just came in off the outside there and got right through. They did not have anybody to pick him up.
They wanted the quick slant to Bernard, who was in the left slot, and DePauw with the pass rush disrupted that and blew the play apart.
Lost 6, moves it back to the 32. 3rd and 16 at the 32. Harbaugh steps up, throwing over the middle, and is short. He underthrows his man Summers, and yes, he was nailed just as he was releasing.
Jeremy Legg is DePauw's leading tackler this year. Had his sights on him, was coming full speed, and he ran into him just about that time.
So now it's 4th down and 16 at the 32. What are you going to do in this situation? I see number 23, Mark Server, coming out. Could this mean a field goal attempt?
Or a fake field goal.
They are lining it up at least. It would be a 50-yarder. Holding the ball is a very speedy man, Billy King, who handles returns for them.
And he is not the regular holder. Dustin Daniel, senior third-string quarterback, is the regular holder. And I think DePauw sensed something might be up, and they've taken a timeout.
You have to be very smart to go to both of these schools. Both of you guys have gone to these schools. But I want to ask you the logic in this. I'm going to take my shirt off in 35-degree weather to show the opposition. I don't know. When you're drinking that chicken soup on Monday, you think a lot of people at Wabash are going to care that you have a sore throat.
Well, I have a feeling that some of the tailgate activities may have led to the removal of the shirts. Wabash guys on the other side of the field doing the same thing.
All right, now DePauw called the timeout, so back to the action, and no inference of any kind of kicking other than a punt. We don't see any lining up for a field goal now. Instead, as expected, Wabash will be kicking it away.
This is a smart call.
Snap was a little low, but Cheek does a nice job to get it and kick it away. And it was a nice punt. Probably his best one of the day, and it keeps DePauw back in their own territory. 1st and 10, ball at the 9-yard line after the nice 31-yard punt by Cheek. DePauw trying to get a little running room going here. The clock ticks down to 3:35 to go in the third. It's been a fast-moving quarter. No scoring. It's still 20-13, just the way we left it at halftime, in favor of Wabash. You see going out of the game for DePauw, Matt King, one of the veteran players there. Jackson Rust, the back man in that eye. And he'll get it. Rush with a touchdown earlier on 2nd and 3. He needs to get out almost to the 20-yard line, and he's going to, looks like, be about a yard or less shy of that.
It's a big 3rd down play here. If they don't get this, Wabash will have great field position again.
The ball is on the 19. They need to get right about the 20. It is 3rd down and a short yard. Handoff. Did they get the 1st down? King spinning around. I believe he did. Get across the 20 and pick it up.
Somebody put a big hit on him, but he spun off of that very nicely.
Take another look at it.
Well, nice spin move there to get that 1st down. That he might not have gotten it.
He got it with the 2nd effort. Marked the ball up to the 21, which is a 1st down. Now we have a timeout on the field. An injury timeout. As coming off the field is Dave Eberle, a 5'11", 280-pound sophomore guard out of St. Louis for DePauw. Let's go down the sideline to Kandace.
Kenny, joining me right now is Jake Knott, former quarterback from Wabash, all-time leading passer. Now, you know a lot about the pressure of this game. You've played in it for 4 years. Threw the winning touchdown pass in 2001. Talk to us about it. Talk to us about the rivalry.
It's a good time. I'll tell you. I'm just happy that this year I'm a year away from it, but there's 40 guys on each side that get to experience this for the first time, and it's a great game. It's good for everybody. It's good for the fans. It's good for both schools.
In a game like this, it's not over until it's over. But what is your prediction for the final score?
I think we're going to have one of the guys in the white. I think will come up with a big play to turn the game. Normally in a game like this, there's 2 or 3 plays that turn the whole game, and I don't think those plays have necessarily happened yet. But here, coming down to the final stretch, I think one of our guys will come up with that play that'll completely turn the game around and give Wabash the victory.
Okay, we'll see. Thanks, Jake. Good luck to you. Kenny.
Thanks, Kandace. Jake Knott, known as the man who threw the pass that turned in to be the Monon miracle. Joe, you were here to call it. That was something else, wasn't it?
It was. That game looked as if it was headed right to overtime. And the Little Giants pulled it out on a miracle play. Jake Knott, graduating last year, is the greatest quarterback in school history.
They set up the screen on 3rd and 13, and Rust has it and picks up some positive yards, but is going to come up well short of the first down, and so DePauw will have to kick it away.
While we were in the sideline interview, Wabash really for the first time today able to get consistent pressure on Andy Yoder with 2 consecutive sacks, one by Aaron Selby and one by Nick Finelli. That's really the first time today we've seen Finelli involved in a key play as a senior defensive captain at middle linebacker.
Ross Wheathoff, the quarterback, is also the punter at times. He's averaging around 36 yards per kick, and he will boot it away. And standing back at his own 45 is Bruno, who will watch this bounce at the 45 and gets a bounce for DePauw. Bruno picks it up at the 30 to the 35, and he goes out of bounds. A terrific kick off the foot of Ross Wheathoff. If he hasn't done enough today already, a 60-yard touchdown run, and now a nice punt to give his team a little breathing room as they were backed up right against their own goal line. 55 yards on that kick. And it came at a perfect time with 37 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. At least now, Wabash will have to work a little bit. They won't get it right at midfield. They're at the 35-yard line. Quarterback Harbaugh's had a big day. Throwing complete to Clifton. Picks up a couple of on that before moving in to bring him down is number 42, Lazinski, 6'2", 215-pound senior, who had 26 solo tackles coming into this game. Jeff Walker comes in, number 84. See that brand new white jersey coming in there for Wabash as a receiver. Harbaugh walking to the sideline. That is the final play of the 3rd quarter. It's 20-13. Wabash leading DePauw. 15 minutes left to see who will be ringing the Monon bell. Can the Little Giants continue to add to the lead, or will the Tigers come back on their home turf? A good defensive 3rd quarter. Both teams had their chances, had some drives, but they come up short. And now we take a look at time of possession, 24 minutes. It's belonged to the Little Giants. Just a few minutes more, but turnovers been dead even. Turnovers led to touchdowns in the first part of the game. That was an evenly played 3rd quarter. Now we pick it up with Wabash on the attack to start the 4th quarter, leading by 7. It's 2nd and 5, the ball at their own 40-yard line. And the handoff comes to Aaron Lafitte, who hasn't been in a while, but he knows what to do when he's in there. And he moves into DePauw territory, crossing the 50-yard line down to about the 47 to pick up the first down.
He makes a nice cut here, just bouncing outside to get the linebacker hook inside. He moves to the outside and picks up a first down.
Kenny, there's a quarterback change for the Little Giants. Harbaugh has come out, and Mitch Tanny, the backup quarterback, has come in. They're late in the 3rd quarter. Harbaugh took that shot to the shoulder. We'll have to see whether or not it's an injury that's going to keep him out of the game.
Tanny, a 6'3", 225-pound sophomore from Lexington, Illinois, has 1 touchdown pass this season. Whistle blows. Play will not go off. Delay a game, which is not unexpected when you have a new quarterback coming in. It'll be interesting to see how Tanny handles the pressure. Harbaugh doing such a great job driving this team. Now it's back in Wabash territory, back to their 48-yard line for a 1st and 15. 4:20 to go here in the 4th quarter. Wabash with a 20-13 lead. That lead is held since halftime. No scoring in the 3rd quarter. Here's Mitch Tanny bringing him to the line. Just the 2nd time he's taken a snap today. And he hands off on the draw to Lafitte, who's at the 45. He's to the 40. He's in a foot race. Will he win it? Yes! Touchdown, Wabash! Aaron Lafitte, 52 yards.
He broke at least 2 tackles there.
He is not the fastest tailback on a dead run, but he can make people miss as well as any tailback in the nation. And Little Giants fans all season long have seen a gradual passing of the torch from senior Chris Morris to freshman Aaron Lafitte, and it's fitting today. Morris with 3 touchdowns, and now Lafitte tacks on one himself.
He had led the team with 15 coming into the day, and now his 16th of the season, and the point after is missed. It hits the right upright. That's 2 PATs missed by Wabash today. Let's take another look at the 52-yard run by the freshman Aaron Lafitte from Goodyear, Arizona. We've been informed that his family is watching this on HDNet out in Arizona in the Phoenix area. There's something to rewind and rewind and rewind. Aaron Lafitte, his 16th touchdown of the season, closing in on 1,000 yards, become the only freshman to ever do that at Wabash. 26-13. Wabash leads with 13:51 to go. DePauw has to get something going now. Teeing it up is Mark Server. He'll kick it away for DePauw. And will he get a chance to get a run back? It comes into the hands of Jamarcus Shepard, and here he goes. Turns the corner, he's at the 20. There's a flag as he's tripped up and falls forward to the 24-yard line. And a good job today by the special teams of Wabash to keep him in check. We say keep him in check because this guy's averaging almost 40 yards per kick. So I guess if you can keep it in the vicinity, Rob, it's all right.
They've done a great job today, and he's not really had a chance to break anything open. You've also got a holding out of that, which is just a killer at this time. But that's okay. I think at this point, DePauw just needs to put a little drive together. It's only a 2-touchdown game. There's plenty of time left, so you take them one at a time at this point.
Well, a run of about 17, 18 yards to get it out to the 24, brought back by a penalty. It's happened a couple of times today now to DePauw. And so the Tigers will start this drive, 1st and 10 at their own 13. They need to get some points on the board, trailing by 13, 26-13 with 13:44 to go. And still in at quarterback is the senior Andy Yoder, who goes to Shepard. Shepard gets it across the 20 to the 22. Picks up about 7 on that.
Field 2.
Take another look at the quick hitter.
Sir, you're off on.
Just almost like a little inside screen from the wide out there.
And again, Yoder rolling out this time as we get back to live action and throwing it out of bounds incomplete.
Good pressure that time from Tamarco White, the sophomore from Mississippi. Tamarco is representative of the kind of defensive end that defensive coordinator Neil Nethery likes. 5'11", 220. He likes smaller, quicker defensive linemen matched up on bigger offensive linemen. Tamarco relatively quiet today, but good job that time on the pass rush.
A big 3rd down now, 3rd and 1 at the 22. Handoff, King. Matt King trying to find some room right up the middle, and it is going to be close. Look at number 15 there, Andy Yoder. They're going to have to measure this. And why is he at DePauw? He's a Wabash legacy. His grandfather, Bob Hepler, played at Wabash in the late 40s, early 50s. A great uncle, Bill Hepler, played in the early 60s at Wabash. Uncle Kent Yoder was a letterman on the 1977 Wabash National runner-up. But here he is at DePauw.
Well, they say, you know, with each generation, families improve. So
I knew that was coming.
That was spoken by former DePauw quarterback Rob Doyle.
They've taught him well.
Well, he picked up the 1st down. I talked to Andy's mother, Susan, this morning, and she said that his grandfather had passed away his senior year of high school. He was being recruited by several schools, Wabash among them. But Nick Morosis was more like a grandfather figure to him, and they hit it off immediately, and he wound up coming there instead of going to Wabash. On 1st and 10, the handoff on the trying to run a reverse with Shepard that just never unfolded, at least not like DePauw had hoped for, and T.T. Jackson stays right in there to make the play. Jackson, who had a 10-tackle game in the win over Huntington College this year, has shown a lot of promise already this season, and that's one of the reasons. Good pursuit.
T.T. Jackson is one of the rising stars on this Wabash defense. He's had a good day today in his first Monon Bell start. And the Wabash defense has done a very good job in keeping Jamarcus Shepard under control. He has not been a difference maker so far in this game.
On 2nd and 12, he's overthrown. They were trying to go to Jamarcus Shepard.
He was open. That ball just got away from him a little bit. He threw it high.
Nick Morosis never down. His team's down by 13, but he's never down. Always out there, always competitive. And here we come up on 3rd down, where DePauw today is batting .500. They need this one. 3rd and 12 at the 21. He's hit. The ball is loose. It's picked up by Wabash, and it's going to be a touchdown for the Little Giants.
Josh Foster with a fumble recovery and turn for the touchdown.
Foster, the 6-foot sophomore, he's made some big plays. The ball was loose. It was right there for the taking, and he takes it home to make it 32-13. Let's take another look at it to see the pressure and who got to Yoder first and caused the fumble.
Blair Hamler forces him to step up in the pocket. It's T.T. Jackson with the hit to force the fumble, and Foster picks it up and runs it back for the touchdown. On the previous play, we mentioned T.T. Jackson was a rising star, and he has certainly shown that today.
That play took a long time to develop. Andy Yoder never saw him coming from the backside.
And now they will go for 2. Quarterback is Mitch Tanny. He's throwing. Brunau's there. Brunau brings it in. 2 points for Wabash. And now the Little Giants are standing taller and taller with 12:16 to play here in the 4th quarter as they lead it 34-13.
It looks like there might have been a mistake here by the defense because there was nobody outside. Looks like he fell down. The cornerback fell down.
You would think that, because how would you leave that man wide open, who is one of the more dangerous players when he has the ball in his hand? And right now, Chris Creighton very much on his way to being 3-0 in Monon Bell games. You see that? 15 yards on the fumble recovery. T.T. Jackson made the big hit. Josh Foster scooped it up, ran it in. They just got the 2-point conversion, and like that, all is quiet now on the DePauw side. Mark Server has it teed up and launches it to Jamarcus Shepard. To the 20, 25-30, 35-40. He cuts back, spins away to the 43-yard line, but could not shake free from Stu Johnson. Johnson holding on, or else we might have seen him return his 3rd touchdown of the season on a kick return.
As he brings this one up, it didn't look like he had a lot going for him up the sideline there, but he got a little bit of a wall, a couple of blocks, and then he cuts it back inside and really makes a big play. You can see there why he leads the country.
Getting there was Stu Johnson to slow him down and bring him down, or who knows. Well, it started off bad in this big series for DePauw to see if they can get back in this game with 12:06 remaining. As you take a look at the penalties that continue to mount up in this game for DePauw. At one time, they only had 1 penalty. They try the double reverse. Will it work? Here goes Jamarcus Shepard. He's at the 50, out of bounds at the 48. Not many guys could make that kind of play work, but he has the speed to do so, and he gets close to the 1st down marker, and so 1st and 15 now turns into 2nd and about 3.
There actually could have been another penalty here. Ross Weedoff, the quarterback, throws a block and actually hit him in the back, but they didn't call it.
Weedoff now back in at quarterback, the 6'2 sophomore. He's run for a touchdown on the day. It is 2nd and 2, a pickup of 13 on that reverse for Jamarcus Shepard. Throwing it out in the flat. Walker Merker has it. He's at the 40, down to the 39, first down DePauw.
Brian Culp threw another great block there on the outside. He's been doing that all game. That play goes nowhere without him. You'll see here on the replay as it comes up. Weedoff's going to get the ball out pretty quick. He takes his man right out and creates a little lane there.
Walker Merker with 3 receptions all that way, just out there in the flat, able to pick up a little yardage afterwards. He picks up 10 plus on that. It's 1st and 10, down to the 39 of Wabash. Weedoff likes that run. He spins away, but he can't spin that much from Josh Foster. Foster staying right there with him to bring him down.
It's really interesting what Wabash does. What they do is they have 3 down linemen and 5 linebackers, which is a very unusual setup, and they bring those linebackers from different locations. As you see, he came there, and they're just not picking these guys up as they're coming through.
2nd and 16. Loss of 6 on that play. Ball back to the 47 of Wabash. 11:05 left in the game. Weedoff keeping it. Going nowhere. Ball is loose. They say it's down on contact. No fumble. But Weedoff is shaken up on the plays. We take another look at it.
Once again, the Little Giants blitz. Weedoff this time could not escape Aaron Selby's tackle, and his knee was twisted very badly. You could see his cleat stuck in the ground, and he was bent right over his ankle and knee. He is clearly in a fair amount of pain at the 45-yard line.
Aaron Selby moving in to make the tackle. As you look over at the Wabash sideline, and Ross Weedoff now getting well-deserved hand from both sides of the field. This has been an interesting rivalry over the years. You guys know it better than I mean, you've seen it. And again, this is one of the great rivalries in all of college football. There's only 12 rivalries that have been playing as long as this one. None of them any closer. Nobody's really dominated, little stretches here and there, but coming into this, 50 wins for each team with 9 ties. It appears Wabash is going to take the lead as they lead 34-13. It looks like they're going to take the lead in the series unless they can get some magic going now for DePauw real soon on 3rd and 15. The ball at the 44 of Wabash. Andy Yoder back in for DePauw. Rolling out, looking, and throwing it deep for Jamarcus Shepard. It's intercepted. Intercepted by Deneau. Dustin Deneau was right there with him, step for step, and picks it off.
There's a flag on the play, but if that stands, that is Dustin Deneau's 5th career interception in the Monon Bell game.
We'll see what the penalty is. It looks like it's going to go against DePauw, and it's going to be holding in all likelihood. I think I heard Nick Morosis ask that question on the sideline.
Well, there are actually 2 holding calls. There might have been the one back there, but Jamarcus Shepard got held right when he was entering the end zone there. The Wabash defender simply just grabbed his jersey and hung on for dear life, but they missed that one.
Once again, the Wabash blitz is really starting to wear down the DePauw offensive line. Wabash getting to the DePauw quarterback with a bit more regularity here in the second half than they did in the first.
Well, the penalty waved off. The interception stands, and taking over 1st and 10 at their own 20 Wabash. 10.5 minutes to go. They're leading at 34-13, and a flag is thrown by the field judge, Ed Mauser. And that was right in front of the DePauw bench.
Sideline violation against DePauw. Maybe a warning flag?
It could be. We've seen the warning come out earlier against Creighton, against Chris Creighton at Wabash and his staff early on in the game, and maybe that was, the shot across the bow.
it was a sideline warning against DePauw.
So now, 1st and 10 at the 20. Aaron Lafitte had a 52-yard touchdown run.
Probably not going to see the ball go too much up in the air now. Wabash is going to eat some clock. Got a 3-touchdown lead, so you're probably not going to see anything too risky with a backup quarterback.
The feet in the game now, but Morris just 7 yards away from setting the career rushing record. Be interesting to see if the Little Giants can get Morris back in the game to pick up that record.
I would imagine that's being relayed to them on the sideline, that how close he is and what a big game he's had with 3 touchdowns already. 2nd and 12 at the 18. They lost a couple on that. Again, Lafitte is the lone setback, and Tanny is throwing for the first time, and he has a completion. And it's going to be up close to first down range. Brunau's has had a great career. You've seen him play throughout it, Joe, and he's going out in strong fashion today as well.
That was his 5th catch for 72 yards today. Needed 10 on the day to move into the top 10 among all-time career receivers.
So he has done that in receptions and in yards gained, and that's well-deserved in his career. We'll see if his teammate Morris can get back in and pick up a 9 or 10 yards to become the all-time leading rusher.
This game is almost always about seniors. But coming in, many of the Wabash leaders were underclassmen. Aaron Lafitte, Russ Harbaugh, T.T. Jackson. But as you've seen today, again, it is about the seniors. Brunau's had a good day, and of course, Morris has been the real star with the 3 touchdowns.
2nd down and 8 at the 32. With 8:45 to go. Wabash in control, 34-13. They put it away in the last few minutes, and the ball is deflected, incomplete. Both teams came into this game with winning records, but both coaches yesterday said unequivocally they were not happy with the season. They wouldn't call it a great success, although naturally it's a winning season, because they each anticipated going to the playoffs. Coming off a 12-1 record was Wabash. DePauw lost 3 games last year. All 3 of those losses were to teams who had unbeaten regular seasons, including Wabash. So they were expecting more. They didn't get it. So this really is their playoff game, their bowl game, their championship, the Monon Bell game, the biggest game of the year, and even magnified perhaps more this year. And going back, Tanny, and he is brought down, and moving in to get the sack is Jeremy Legg, a 6'1", 215-pound senior from Aurora, Indiana. He's a biochemistry major who's all academic in both football and in baseball.
And he made a nice play there. He beat the blocker and got right to the quarterback. And that's probably why he's the leading tackler for DePauw this year.
30 solo tackles on the season for him. A timeout as a 4th down and 15 await.
Another big penalty for DePauw, an unsportsmanlike conduct flag. DePauw has really hurt itself today with ill-timed penalties.
So these penalties are uncharacteristic of DePauw.
Well, especially, I mean, they've been mounting as the game's gone along. The first quarter, DePauw was the one playing great football, avoiding the injuries. But now here it is, 4th and 1 at the 39.
Some confusion on the Wabash sideline. I think Chris Creighton thought it was an automatic first down on the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Had his team out there under center, and they took a timeout. I would be very surprised if Wabash would go for it with this field position, even though it's short yardage on 4th down.
I've never heard a coach apologize as much for a big win as did Chris Creighton yesterday. He wanted to go back to the Hiram game, wanted to assure everybody he didn't run the score up. He is a very caring man. He took his team last year, actually this past spring, they went to Germany and Austria. Played a football game in Vienna, but more than the football game, they had an 8-day tour. Among them, they went mountain climbing, climbed the Austrian Alps. Again, Chris Creighton, who grew up in Seattle, outdoors guy, likes to climb mountains. And so maybe metaphorically as well at times by coming here and getting this program really having a great 3 years so far. Garth Cheek will boot it away. Nice high punt. It's taken at the 25, and that is where that play will stop.
The Little Giants have had an outstanding day on kick and punt coverage today. Jamarcus Shepard ripped off a long kickoff return on his first opportunity. Since then, Wabash has really put the clamps on DePauw's returners, and that's been a key to the battle in field position.
David Cook over on the sideline, as you see, number 16. And now, with 8:14 to go in this game, Wabash up 34-13. Andy Yoder brings him back and throws it out to Jamarcus Shepard, who will go up to about the 33 and be stopped there. And moving in, Josh Foster among those in on the stop, and T.T. Jackson. You've heard those names a lot in the second half, especially. Jackson caused the fumble that Foster scooped up and went in for the last touchdown. When you're in a game like this, and you know, Rob, that basically it's going to take a lot more than one Monon miracle to pull this one out, down 34-13 with 7:40 to go. How do you approach it, trying to get through these last few series?
Well, I think there's nothing in your playbook that you leave out, and you do not try to get it all in one play. You can get down score in a minute or two, and then it's a 2-touchdown game. Right there, it looks like he overthrew his man. If you try to bounce it, take it all in one play like they did the last time, you have an interception and you lose a drive. You can't forget the things that brought you here. They've had a successful offense all year. I know they've worked very hard for this day. These kids wanted this game in the worst way for Coach Nick.
Come on, out, let's go!
I think the best way to do it is to take what's there and see if you can move it down the field.
On 3rd and 4 from their own 33. Andy Yoder out of the shotgun. On the flat to Jamarcus Shepard. 40 to about the 43. And he picks up the first down. So the very competitive Andy Yoder, you know he is not going down without a fight. And there's always a safe play, isn't it? Give it to Shepard, he can usually make something happen.
He broke a nice tackle there. You see why he's the team's leading receiver. Andy Yoder's won a lot of games in his career, both in high school and college, so I can assure you, I don't think these guys will quit.
Yoder throwing again, it's intercepted. Intercepted, and he steps out of bounds. It's Billy King that picks it off. One of the bright young players that Chris Creighton has brought into the Wabash program. As Joe was mentioning earlier, 13 sophomores or freshmen in the starting lineup, 15 if you count the kickers. I mean, that's a lot to look forward to in the future.
It is, and Chris Creighton told you earlier in the week that he had designs on a playoff season. I think that was probably a stretch for this team given its youth and given a new starting quarterback. If they hold on to win today, Wabash goes 7-3 playing 13 freshmen and sophomores. That's a pretty good rebuilding season for a Division III program.
Back in the game, and I would guess so he can pick that record up, is Chris Morris. And here he gets. He needs 8. He rounds the corner. He is up to midfield. He's crossed midfield, right about the 49. We'll see where they mark it. And on that play, he might have become the all-time leading rusher in Wabash history.
He did. It's an 11-yard gain. He needed 7. And Chris Morris is now the all-time leading rusher in Wabash College history. That gives him 95 yards rushing on the day. And he passes Daryl Johnson and erases a record that stood for 21 years.
He passed a very good football player in Daryl Johnson.
And he will stay in. 1st and 10 at the 49 of DePauw. And carry it again. And add to that record as he gets down to the 43. So add 6 more to that total.
You cannot overstate how happy the Wabash student body, the Wabash football program, all the Wabash fans are for Chris Morris. A 1,500-yard all-conference, honorable mention All-American runner a year ago, loses his starting job to a hotshot freshman, Aaron Lafitte, who is very, very good. And did deserve to start this year. And in his final game, Morris becomes the all-time leading rusher, and right now is the difference maker in this game.
And on 2nd and 5 at the 43, a pass. Renaud brings it in at the 35 on a sliding catch.
They haven't changed their game plan at all with the second quarterback, have they?
Not at all. Mitch Tania Joe mentioned he had a nice arm there, and we've seen it. He drilled that one in. Bernard getting close to some other records too, I would imagine, receiving. 1st and 10 at the 35 with 6:18 to go on the clock.
Bernard with 6 catches for 81 yards today.
Here's Morris again. He's to the 32, picks up a couple on that play.
Well, at this point in the game, that tackle by Lazinski, the senior, I think every one of those becomes precious now as this clock starts to wind down. You want to take every moment you can and get your last hits in, because it's going to be over real fast.
Chris Morris, by the way, 4 touchdowns last week, 3 today, 7 TDs to close his last 2 games of his college career out. Last regular season game, the Monon Bell, the oldest college rivalry in small college competition west of the Alleghenies, meeting for the 110th time today. It was a close game early on. DePauw jumped out to a 7-0 lead. It was 20-13 at intermission in favor of the team in the white and red there, Wabash. And then in the second half, it's been mostly the Little Giants as they've opened up a comfortable lead, 34-13. Let's go down now on the sideline to Kandace once again.
Kenny, you've talked about, of course, the rivalry and the pranks that go along with the rivalry. I sat down with Coach Coach Nick and his wife earlier this week, and they talked about some of the pranks that stand out in their mind. And Marilyn said that the one that stands out the most is one year they awoke to find a W burned in their yard. Of course, it was the week of the Monon Bell Classic. Her daughter came back in the house after going out to catch the bus, and she said, "Mom, I think some fans from Wabash have been here."
I tell you know, it's interesting. You kind of get into school pranks and all, and I think grown-ups become kids again sometimes. And you know, it's funny, the rivalries, how they emerge and build over the years and how they sustain themselves. And it is special when you say this thing dates back to 1890. They played every year since 1911. Tanny with the carry. And I think it speaks well for everyone here in the north central Indiana area of you know, what this game means, even if it means playing a trick on the old coach, who also has a shrub in the shape of the Monon Bell in his front yard.
There have been a lot of interesting things that have gone on in this rivalry. When I was a senior, I woke up and had team breakfast, and we got back to the house afterwards, and in my mail slot was a bumper sticker from one of the Wabash alum. They had bumper stickers printed that said "Foil Doyle," and so that was the last thing I saw before I headed down to the stadium. And it was funny, although what he didn't probably realize is that we had a lot of guys to stop that year. But it just shows you the lengths that they'll go to try to get in your head at the last minute. They didn't send it at the beginning of the week. They had it there the last moment just before we went down to the stadium.
On 3rd and 9, Bernard trying to get around the corner. And he does, but will not get the first down. He goes out at the 27.
Nice play by Bernard. He was trapped in the backfield. Made a nice move to shake a defender and get upfield. It'll be 4th down and short, and I would suspect this will again be 4-down territory for Wabash.
Well, he hasn't backed off yet. He's got the whole offense in the package now, even this late in the game. So you have to expect he's going to probably go for it.
And Chris Morris now comes off the field, gives way to Aaron Lafitte. Morris walks off the field now as the all-time leading rusher in Wabash history. He's a senior from Zionsville High School in Zionsville, Indiana, headed to law school next fall after he finishes his academic career at Wabash.
Sort of a passing of the torch right there, and Aaron Lafitte gets it. He's had a 52-yard touchdown run today, and he fights his way down to the 23-yard line. And that is enough to move the chains one more time. 1st down, Wabash.
This has to be real tough for Coach Nick to watch these minutes roll down in a storied career. From the cradle of coaches at Miami of Ohio, he's coached with the best. He's got one of the best minds in the game, and better yet, he's one of the best people you can have for kids. He's a great role model and mentor, and it's got to be tough to see it wind down like this.
Dustin Daniil is now the quarterback, and he hands it off to Aaron Lafitte. We've seen Daniil, the 6-foot, 185-pound senior from Clarksville, Indiana, in mostly to hold for the point after. But he also has a touchdown on the season.
Dustin Daniil is a great story. He has been with his football program for 4 years, paid his dues along the way, could never quite move up the depth chart to be a starting quarterback or to be the number 2 quarterback. Of course, 3 of those years he played behind Jake Knott. He has never let his loyalty or dedication to this football program waver. He has been a real leader on this football team, and his participation in this game will be very popular among his teammates and the student body.
Again, it's Lafitte, and among those bringing him down is Jeremy Legg, who will close out a solid career here. He led the team in solo tackles coming into the day, along with Mike Lazinski, Joshua Swift, seniors on this team, Brent Hornett, David Blackbird, who had a big interception, and whose mother, Pam, by the way, sang the national anthem earlier today. So some of these seniors going out to playing hard till the end. Mostly doing it for Coach Nick, as they all say. Nick Morosis did not want to make a big deal out of this being his final game in 23 years. He is 11th on the active list among Division III coaches. But he wanted this to remain about the game and about the team. And he's more excited about being the commencement speaker, which is quite an honor. The DePauw student body had their choice, and they picked their football coach, Nick Morosis, to speak at commencement. What an honor that is for him. Already the man is a member of the famed Miami, Ohio Cradle of Coaches. That's his alma mater, and he's been inducted into that elite fraternity that includes Woody Hayes and Weed Eubank and Paul Brown and Aaron Parsegian. And at 66 years old, I guess he'll play golf and spend time with his wife, Marilyn, and maybe work a little more on that shrub, that Monon Bell shrub. They're attempting a field goal now, and Omi Olmstead comes on. The kick is up, and the kick is good.
A 38-yard field goal for senior place kicker Omi Olmstead, and that is another big moment for a Wabash senior. Omi, another very popular upperclassman among the student body and the football team. Of course, he's a bit of a cult hero because of his throwback kicking style with the square toe shoe and the straight ahead kick.
And Olmstead, school record 40 extra points his sophomore year. That was a rare field goal attempt, but it got there, and now his name goes into the record book in the Monon Bell game, and the bell will continue to ring in Crawfordsville, Indiana. In case you're passing through town here, you take Highway 231, you go about 27 miles north of here, and there's Crawfordsville, the home of Wabash. And we are here in Greencastle and the home of DePauw today. It's everything you could expect in a rivalry. Maybe not the kind of spread that we expected, though. 37-13 is now the score, as once again Mark Server will boot it off, and once again we'll see if the junior Jamarcus Shepard can break one. He's out to the 40, up to the 43. Normally you wouldn't expect everybody to be able to break one all the time, would you? But he came in here averaging 38.8 a game. He returned 2 touchdowns against Millsap, 2 kickoffs for touchdowns. So he is capable, anytime he gets the ball, of going 75, 80 yards.
Doesn't look like much of a start, but he makes it interesting every time he touches the ball.
This has been a terrific day, obviously, for the Wabash offense, the highlight of which is Chris Morris's run to the career rushing record. The number of points the Little Giants have on the board, 37, the most they've scored in almost a decade. In 1993, they scored 40 points in a 40-26 win in a game that was part of a 5-game Monon Bell winning streak for the Little Giants.
Yoder fakes the inside handoff, is keeping it, and now he's forced to throw it away. Combination here of these 50 points makes this one of the highest scoring in combined points Monon Bell games that they have been playing for the Bell since 1932. take a look at the pressure here inside Fate.
More of the same. They've just gotten to Yoder all day and forced him to just throw the ball away.
And that was Blair Hammer, and Joe talked about it earlier. He has played just with guts this year, ankle injuries. He was a preseason All-American. His brother, BJ, holds the record for sacks. He's close to that. Yoder has to just go down to recover the ball on the low snap. Clock winds down. Just over a minute to go. Wabash is going to keep the Monon bell. The bell of the railroad that's been special to this area, to the W.C. DePauw family, the man who donated hundreds of thousands of dollars in the 1870s, 1880s to help the growth of DePauw University. So the railroad has been a lot here to the people in this part of Indiana, especially the Monon Railroad. You see the names out there of the diners and stores. The name is all around this area. Here's Jamarcus Shepard trying for something big. 40 goes out of bounds, picking up the first down with 36 seconds to go.
Today was the 25th time in series history that one of the two teams had won 2 in a row and had an opportunity to win 3 in a row. Little Giants would become the 15th team out of those 25 to claim 3 in a row. And the last time the Little Giants won back-to-back games here in Greencastle, which they'll do today, was also the last time they won 3 consecutive games against DePauw.
Andy Yoder, who has had a terrific career as well, the senior coming to the end here, gets the completed pass to Torrey Roush. Yoder, who was just had a huge year last year, over 2,300 yards, 20 touchdown passes, a little different this year. He's been a great leader, though, in accepting sharing time with the sophomore, Ross Weedhoff.
He really has. He's done everything you can ask of your senior quarterback, including giving up some of his playing time.
Ball's at the 25. Yoder is keeping it. He gets inside the 20 to the 19. And timeout DePauw. One more shot at that end zone. Maybe 2. 16.6 seconds to go. Wabash will keep ringing the Monon bell, and they will take the lead in this series, 51-50 to 9.
And what a start for Chris Creighton in coaching Monon bell games. He will now be 3-0 in his career against DePauw. He'll go to 27-6 in 3 seasons at the Little Giants helm, and he becomes just the 3rd coach in Wabash history to win his first 3 outings against DePauw.
Well, and Nick Morosis receiving cards and letters and calls and emails from all over the country, and even from underwater. Former player Ryan Harper aboard the submarine USS Salt Lake City had sent him a letter saying, "I don't think you've gotten a letter from this depth, but here's what you've meant to me and how you helped prepare me when I went on to my naval career." Throwing for the touchdown. One more touchdown throw for Andy Yoder, and he hits Torrey Roush to get DePauw on the board for the first time since the 2nd quarter. That's the way, never giving up at all. And it's a 20-yard strike from Andy Yoder, the senior, with his final touchdown pass to the junior from Crawfordsville. Right in the backyard of Wabash, hauling that in was Torrey Roush. That makes it 37-19, awaiting the point after. And John Wallace will be kicking out of the Kyle McGrath hold.
Well, you saw there how dangerous Andy Yoder can be if he gets a little time to throw the ball. And although those points don't mean anything now, you can see that Coach Nick's kids aren't going to quit. Those boys will keep playing until the final whistle blows.
He steps up and fires it. He's had a terrific career, over 38, approaching 3,900 yards over that now, over 3,900 yards, 6th all-time in his career here. And he closes out his final pass of his career at DePauw is that of a touchdown. Well-deserved for senior Andy Yoder. They just keep adding up these 57 points. This is going to be one of the, we're going to have to move up in the record book here to see 57 now. There's only been 4 other games where they had more total points than we've had in this one.
Well, there's only 13 seconds now to go in Coach Nick's career, and I know that there's a lot of former players around the country who have special feelings for him and thank him for all he's done and meant for them. I can't think of a better man to be a mentor to your son if you're sending him out to play college football, either in this state or we have boys here in both schools from all over the country. And when you do that, you want to know that your son has been sent off to a good place and with the right people, and Coach Nick is one of those.
He leaves with 138 victories, but has touched the lives of more than 500 players in his 23 years. That's what Nick Morosis will be remembered for, I think, most here, not only at DePauw, but throughout the communities of Greencastle here in DePauw and all the way up to Crawfordsville and Wabash. The respect people have for Nick Morosis, 66 years old, retiring after today's game. Came here to find a home in Division III football, was tired of the hustle and bustle, he said yesterday, of Division I, and was glad to be here. And DePauw certainly glad to have had him. And now as we tick down to the final seconds in his career, it's been one of special memories. The loss stings for a bit today, but it's what's been accomplished in over 2 decades here that they will always remember. And this should be the last play of the game. We would expect that Dustin Daniil will hand off, and he does, and Lafitte almost broke it. Maybe not the last play of the game. He gets right up the middle and picks up the first down, so the clock has to be stopped to move the chains. This will be, for a young Wabash team, one with about every key player coming back, the 7th win of the season. And there it is. The game now comes to an end. Nick Morosis walking off the field for the last time as the DePauw coach. He ends a great 23-year career here, 138 wins, 11th among the active list in Division III. And there is Chris Creighton, who is now 3-0 in the Monon Bell games. And ring the bell, all you Wabash fans. It is staying up the road in Crawfordsville as you come to Greencastle and DePauw country and come away with an impressive 37-20 win. That late touchdown maybe making it look even a little closer than that. It was all Wabash here in the second half of play, guys.
The Little Giants did it with their rushing attack. Chris Morris, over 100 yards today, becomes the school's all-time leading rusher. The Little Giants, after a shaky start to open the game, settled down. Russ Harbaugh, before his injury, was very steady in leading this offense. They relied on the rushing attack, and then the Little Giants turned up the heat defensively. Their blitzing, which was not particularly effective in the first half, wore down the DePauw offensive line. They started to get pressure and then sealed the deal with the Josh Foster fumble recovery in return for a touchdown.
Well, there's the bell. They will ring it loud and long again tonight. The Monon Bell taken off of engine 99 of the old Monon Railroad that ran this way. They've been playing for that since 1932, and for the 3rd straight year it stays with Wabash. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. It's been fun being here. Remember, our next game here on HDNet, we go to the Ivy League for another great rivalry. Saturday, November 22nd at noon, it's Harvard at Yale. In the 110th meeting between Wabash and DePauw, it is Wabash winning at 37-20 to take a lead in this tight series, 51-50-9. This game has been brought to you by some good folks working out in the truck, working hard for us. Hank Lean, our producer. Director Mike Fox. Executive producer for HDNet, Daryl Ewalt. For my teammates up here, Joe Emmick and Rob Doyle. Kandace Krueger down on the sideline. I'm Kenny Reich. Thanks for being with us. Wabash wins it over DePauw, 37-20. Goodbye from Greencastle, Indiana. This has been a presentation of HDNet Sports.